Let's get started. Welcome, guys, again for all my friends on YouTube. Today we are going to be doing NBA 2K League Power Rankings. If you guys like this content, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. So let's get right into it. Let's actually make sure that we're not exposing all the power rankings right off the gate. So, because that would be bad. Anyway, let's transition over to the power rankings for season 6. Isn't that crazy? We are in season 6 of the NBA 2K League. Who would have thought? We'll do fives and threes. Again, I want to start with fives because it's something that I know a lot better. We can do 3v3 power rankings as well. I just have to kind of formulate what I think the threes rosters are going to be before I make that decision. That would probably be on another stream, but this is going to be fives for now. But let's start it off. So I will make some adjustments as I go through the power rankings because I feel there's going to be some teams that are going to, like, I might change my opinion about, so I just want to make this clear. There probably will be some teams I change and move around as I go. So, the first team that's going to be on my power rankings is, what the heck? Whoa. Okay, hang on. I opened the wrong power rankings. Alright. Alright. Well, I opened the wrong one. Okay. All right, cool. Well, I opened the wrong one to start off. Great start for me, right, guys? No, my power. What the heck? I'm gonna be really upset if I lost all my stuff that I was just working on off stream. Oh, here it is. Okay. Well, I found it. All right. So we're gonna start, obviously, in reverse order and work our way to number one. To top off our worst team in the NBA 2K League. It's gonna be Oz Gaming. When I look at Oz Gaming, I don't think in fives they have a really strong team. I also don't know when Harry is going to get in. I don't have any information at this point of when Harry is going to get into the States. When I look at his team, it's a very strong defensive roster. Yesterday, when I was working on draft grades and stuff like that, we kind of spoke on this team. This roster currently has, I'll actually jump over to Oz Gaming real quick just so you guys can see Oz Gaming. Oz Gaming is just a team that, in my opinion, doesn't have enough for fives. I think they have enough when it comes to 3v3. It looks like a good 3v3 roster, but when I look at this team, I don't really see it. I mean, you have Jaden, who will do his thing in threes with Law Rich and probably DJ, I would assume, is their three sign-up, but for fives, it's like, I don't know. They'll have a good pick and roll defense. I think that Jerry will be a big part of the offense and trying to, get something going for the offense this year. But I just think that this team doesn't have enough offensively. They have the defense, but sometimes, this is a really defensive game, so that might be in their benefit, but I just don't think they have enough for fives. And, until I see more of Harry, you can't really convince me otherwise at this point. We're kind of going based off a lot of nothing when it comes to Harry. I have to see him play in the States against, because every guard that's coming overseas has struggled. I also just don't know how these personalities are going to mesh. If things aren't going well, I don't know how this team is going to work when it comes to formulating wins and just being able to stay as one unit. Like, I don't know how they're going to be off the court. That outside of 2K stuff is very important when it comes to the NBA 2K League. Anyway, up next, we'll move on. Alright. So, number 25 is Oz Gaming. Up next is Dukes Infinitos. When I go to look at Dukes Infinitos, it's another team. We'll go through Dukes real quick. When I go to look at Dukes Infinitos, another team has a very strong threes team. I don't know how I feel in fives. We saw Vanny last year in fives. Vanny's very hit or miss when it comes to fives. I don't really know how I feel about Hescap in fives either. He didn't really show me a good outing last year. Not a very good offensive player. His defense, the Gen G defense was nothing special last year. I think it was part of the reason why they broke up. That's kind of why they let go of Hescap and Bumpy Don. Bumpy Don's a really good player. I think that he was just in a really bad pick and roll with a lock that didn't do well in fives. I think Hescap's built for threes more than anything. I don't know how it's going to be in fives with their defense. Beasley is a good player, but I don't know if, even with Beezus in there, I don't know how it's going to be with Hescap. I really have to see, Hescap, play a lot better this season. This team last year started off hot and kind of in like fives, but kind of once teams figure them out, they were kind of done. That's the problem is with a lot of the bad teams, they're going to get figured out through all these scrims, and it's like by the time the season starts, it's going to be a gap. The good teams are going to be ahead, so it's like this team might honestly be one of the worst teams this year because teams are going to have a lot of reps against them, and kind of know what to expect out of this team. Um, yeah, but that's what I think of Dukes Infinitos. Up next, we are going to go to number 23. Number 23 is Jazz Gaming. Again, this is another team that looks like it's a high upside on the the 3 side. But when it comes to fives, I'm not 100% confident in this team. The current set for Jazz Gaming on their roster is Rec Combos, Kelmav, Kaze, Charger, Rhea. I've seen Kelmav in the league. I know a lot of people, think he's really good. He's looked good on pre-draft this year. This is actually the only player I did not have in my 50-50 or drafted category. He is the one player I feel that I didn't expect to get drafted. Gets a second opportunity. He's had locker room issues in the past, consistency issues, he's been really good at times, but then he's been really bad. Very up and down with him, in my opinion. So I'll see what Comp is able to do when it comes to coaching. But that's already one project he's working on. And on top of that, you have a lot of guys who are traditionally built around the 3v3 end of things, like Rec Combo. Well, Rec Combos, like I said, he's kind of shown good things in fives this year, but he's more strong on the 3 side, as well as Kaze. Charger, Charger's been very up and down. He's a solid player. He's not a bad player, but he's just solid at best, in my opinion. Rhea's going to have to really push this team to the limits to really get them anywhere, in my opinion, in fives. Maybe, again, another team I think that looks really strong in the 3s end, but does not look good in the 5s end, in my opinion. So, again, I think that their ranking here at 23 is fair to me. But number 22 is going to be Wizards District Gaming. A lot of people are going to be very shocked in this one. Maybe not everybody, but some people are going to be asking, how can you have a team that just went to the finals go from being in the finals to being the 22nd ranked team? Dave Fry was really important to this team when it came to leadership, when it came to just his impact. You saw this guy. He's one of the greatest players of all time in 2K League history, retires. When you lose a player like that, it's very hard to continue to be good. We see it in the NBA. When LeBron left Cleveland, you saw how bad they were. It's something that, when Kevin Durant left OKC, it's like a lot of these players, when they leave their teams, they're not as good. They're not a top tier team like they were before. Appreciate it for him. When I look at this Wizards team, it's kind of just tough for me to be sold on the fact that they're going to be an elite fives team. I'll pull up their roster real quick just for you guys to look at their roster. When you look at Wizards District Gaming, Cap, again, had a really good playoff performance, but he didn't really do well throughout the regular season. He wasn't strong. It was kind of solid. He was solid at best. He's a solid guard, but is it a guard that's going to bring you to the playoffs when you don't have big star players like Dave Fry? And now you take Nudini off his best position, power forward. They've tried Nudini at other positions in the past, and it didn't work out. That was back in, I think, Season 4, when they had XO LeBron, and they had Nudini as shooting guard. They ended up moving Nudini back to power forward, and they ended up going on a huge win streak once they put Nudini on his best position. Awkward will still be awkward, but it's I don't know how I feel about Nudini kind of filling in that hole for Dave Fry at the center position. So I think that this is kind of one of those situations where it's there's too much change in this team, and I think that we're just going to see a drastic drop-off when it comes to their success this season. Again, I like the addition of Glowski, but I just don't think this was the team I expected Glowski to go to, in my opinion. Also, Witness last year. Witness was not a good shooting guard last year. Adding him to this team, I don't really see it. Maybe there was something in pre-draft that they saw that they liked, that they just felt that this would be a good addition. I just don't see this team being good on any ends, not any facets. Awkward and Nudini, if they get back in the pick and roll together, I would not be shocked if they put Glowski at center at one point in fives, but the only good thing about this team possibly could be their defense. And I don't even think their defense is the same without Dave Fry, because he was that vocal leader. Awkward will be that new vocal leader, but I think just the way the players listened and followed Dave Fry was a lot different, and his ability to just kind of call out and understand everybody's jobs and positions was something so crucial to this team. I think it's just going to be a really bad year for this team, and that's why I have them ranked where I have them. Up next, we are going to go to the 21st team. Number 21 on my power rankings is Cavs Legion. Um, I might change this one. I might not. I don't know how I feel about the team of fives. They had a nice little spurt at the end of the year with Antoine and Doc. They kind of pushed something a little bit near the end of the year. They looked pretty good. They didn't look too bad in threes, but I just don't know how I feel about them at this point when it comes to the 5v5 season. I look at this roster. I don't know if Antoine is a point guard that can bring you to the playoffs, as well as they're in the Eastern Conference, which is going to be a huge challenge for them. I just have a hard time, convincing myself that this is going to be the team that makes playoffs. They don't look like a strong playoff roster to me. But I mean, when I look at this team, I see something that it just doesn't look good. Let me just adjust something real quick. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that was covering that up. All right, sorry, I had to fix that. As I was saying, though, I mean, they have Cease. Good has a lot of promise as a rookie guard. I mean, a rookie lockdown coming in. But again, Cease, Cease had Daw Six, one of the best locks in the league. Now he has a new young guard coming into the league. I mean, young lock coming into the league. I don't know what Subgood's abilities are going to be at this point. He's shown what he can do in Pro-Am, but we have seen, in the past, not everyone can translate to the league. I like Yusuf. I like this team defensively, but I don't think they're going to be as good defensively, to get them to the playoffs. I think that they could be a top defense. I just don't think they're going to be able to. That's going to be enough fuel for them to get to the playoffs with Antoine and Doc as your backcourt. I think that that's probably a bottom 10 backcourt in the league right now, in my opinion. Until Antoine can show me that he can shoot, because that's something that's been a big struggle, is him shooting open shots. I mean, he takes a lot of tough shots, but when he's open, he has struggled in the past to shoot. Hopefully that's better this year. I hear a lot of good things. A lot of people have been putting murmurs out there that Antoine has really gotten a lot better. We'll see if that is. And also, I have not seen much of Doc. I have not seen much of Doc in this offseason. I haven't really seen. I just haven't seen much of Doc. And yeah, we talk about the consistency, Grizz. I just don't think these guys are going to have any type of consistency. They'll have a whole month. I think the problem is with that whole 2 months of them playing 5v5, teams are going to figure this team out by the time we get to the tip-off, and they're just not going to be up to par with most of the teams. They'll probably have good spurts here and there, but it really just, I don't have a good feeling about this team at all. Up next at 20, we have Blazer 5 Gaming. Blazer 5 had a very interesting draft. They took a lot of players that did not know they were going there. A lot of players that I mean, they're talented, but the thing is, it's like they don't have a coach, for one. They don't have a coach. That does factor into how well their season can actually be. When you don't have some type of person to be able to mediate these people when things are going south or things aren't working or adjustments, it's hard to rely on your players. I think Mickey, he can do his GM stuff. He's not bad at doing, when it comes to upper management stuff, but he needs somebody to manage his players. I really fear if he does not get somebody into his organization soon, he's going to lose this team. This team is just not going to listen to him. Because when it comes to leadership, you got to know what you're talking about. And it's like Mickey might understand the business side of things, but I don't know if he necessarily understands the 2K side of things and how to coach a 2K team. And I don't think he plans to coach a 2K team. I think that there has been rumors that he's looking for something, but I don't know when that's going to happen because we've already had the draft happen, and we're not far away from the season. The season starts in a month. You got to get something going soon. Things have to get, hopefully the wheels start turning in the right direction because they have to have some type of leadership. You have a young guard. You have a power forward that I don't think necessarily wanted to be there. He talked about wanting to be on a win-now team. This team is kind of like a progression team. I don't see this team being a team that's making deep runs. They could have a couple spurts here and there of winning and win some big games and maybe make some upsets here and there. That's the NBA2KLeague at the end of the day, but it's Jomar's got to be one of the best players in the world. Jomar has looked really good at the UPA event. He was at lockdown, and it's I don't even know what this roster is going to look like to start the season. Who's to say Lab doesn't go to power forward, Jomar goes to lock, and Chaos is at center? I mean, there's not even a straightforward lineup. That is a possible lineup. I know that everyone doesn't really necessarily believe that Chaos would be the center because Jomar's there. But if Jomar is him at lock, why not? That could be a possible lineup as well for this team. Claude and Harvey, They're also another factor, and I know some people aren't going to care about this factor. They are going to be in Portland remotely, so most of their games, I mean, people say, "Oh, they'll play on central servers." There's every year people always complain about some type of some type of delay, some type of connection issues. I don't know how I feel about that as well. That's another issue that might not be something that always factors in or should not matter, but it's something that does exist in this league at points, and this could be a thing that might alter this team's result as well. Again, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how the connection is. I can't project how good, connection is going to be. But we've seen that with Lakers gaming a couple of years ago when Lakers were playing on delay the entire season. But they were also playing out of a hotel room, different world, different atmosphere. But it's like that is a factor we have to watch out for. And that's the issue with teams that are staying on the West Coast. They're across the country. The league, obviously, I'm not, the league, wherever it's going to be, it's got, it's like there's a good chance that they're going to be delayed if they're playing teams. I know that people talked about central servers, but we know how 2K servers are at the end of the day. There's a lot of issues with 2K servers, but we'll see. Again, this Blazers team, I don't really have a high hopes in them in 5v5. I don't even know how I feel about them in 3v3. I think this is a transition year. Obviously, they lost a lot. They lost a lot with losing out on players, stuff like that. But it's like, I don't know. Claude has a huge responsibility, a lot of pressure. I really hope that Claude can live up to it because it's like I said, the number 4 pick is going to be Darko, and right now Claude is in a position to where he might end up being the Darko of the 03 draft class for this NBA2KLeague comparison. I'll see. I want to see Claude succeed, but I don't think that this current set, I don't know. There's a lot going against him at this point. Going to our next team, here at 19, we have Hornets Venom GT. Some people might like this team. I'm probably completely wrong about this team, and I might even move this team up, to be honest with you. 19 seems a little low. I think that moving them a little higher into the playoff field, I think this is a team that's going to be fighting in and out of getting into the playoffs. Obviously, they're in an Eastern Conference. That isn't easy. This Eastern Conference is insane. Definitely going to be hard. Darko went too. Yeah, but like the way the NBA 2K League, I said that the pick that's going to be the Darko pick is going to be 4. I know Darko went too, but I think I'm saying like the player that's in the top 5 that's going to end up being like the worst. It's kind of like my Darko comparison. That's how I'm aligning it. Is like the player out of the top 5 that's not going to be like that big projected player that everyone was expecting them to be. So that's my Darko, and at this point, Claude is my Darko. Spam is my LeBron. Carmelo is Greens. Lizzie is Dwayne Wade. Okay. That's my comparisons. That's how I have it lined up right now. Those are my comparisons for those guys coming into this draft, coming into the league as well. Anyway, getting up to Hornets Venom GT. Let's go back over here. Let's talk about the Hornets now. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about this Hornets team. Love the defense. Phenomenal defense, which is important in this league, and I think that I'm really underplaying how important defense is going to be in this game because defense is obviously shown in retail to be very important. This could be a high energy team. Blue, Saint, Crown, going to be a good pick and roll team. Very loud, vocal, energy, everything. I just don't know how I feel about Bougie and Rigby. I've heard very bad things about Rigby at this point. He'll have an entire month to figure it out, 2 months. Bougie has been good, very inconsistent, kind of coming on and off when he comes to playing in retail. Has played point guard in the past. He has the scoring ability of a Kyverson, and he also passes better than Kyverson. But again, I don't know how I feel because he has not been very consistent this year in retail, and I think that's really important. Like he has potential, but at the end of the day, I have to see more out of him. So at this point, I'm not really convinced that he can be that franchise guard they need. I think that Rigby and Bougie, it's either boom or bust. It's no in between. There's not really an in between. It's not really in between. I know Darko went too, Claude. I'm saying that though the player that was going to go 4 was going to end up being Darko of the 03 draft class. That's what I'm saying. Maybe I should word it better. I think that's how I was wording it. It's the player that was going 4. I said it on the BFW for their mock draft that whoever goes 4 is going to end up being the Darko from the 03 class. It's not about aligning the picks. It's about aligning the comparisons. So right now, you are my Darko from the 03 class. But Chris Bosh is Bray. I would say Bray or Dimes, if whatever. Chris Bosh is probably Bray or Dimes. One of the two. But anyway, moving into This team, though, like I was saying, I'm not the only issue I have with this team. Like I think that, like I said, great defense. Not confident in their backcourt. I have you at power forward. I thought you were talking a single path. Okay. Anyway, let's move on to our next ranking. Up next, 18. At 18, we have Raptors Uprising. Again, if you look at the rankings from 17 to 21, I believe these are all teams that are going to be in the middle of their conferences and kind of figuring it out. And you'll see, like, when we go to rank conferences, like, you're like, oh, well, you had this team ranked all the way down here, but then they're in the playoff, they're in, like, closer in the playoff picture here. It's because conferences matter. Again, I didn't really think about, when I was doing these power rankings, it was kind of like, I don't know how many East and West teams are at the top. I do know I like there's certain. I think the West is very top heavy, but the East has a lot of depth, in my opinion. CB13. I'm not gonna lie, Cavs might be a top 10 overall. I mean, listen, I'm happy that you have a lot of confidence in your guy Antoine, man. I know that he's your former teammate, but I just don't think that their offense is gonna be enough. I think their backcourt is a little rough. I mean, I said that before. I think that the Cavs can move up to, maybe again the highest I think I'd put the Cavs is probably 17. I mean, I would probably drop some of these teams, but even with the Cavs, I mean, I think that the highest I'd put them is probably 17. But again, I said like I said, there's going to be some moving around as I'm going through these rosters and looking through some things, so there might be a possibility to move them up. But for now, I'm going to keep the Cavs at 21. Anyway, going back to the Raptors Uprising roster. Going to the Raptors, we'll pull up the Raptors roster real quick. Again, this Raptors roster, Mooch and Gazuli, two really good guys, a lot of promise. We already seen Mooch in the league. Mooch kind of struggled, so it's kind of like a worry to me. Like, again, this is a player that I thought had the potential to be a bust, but at the same time, Mooch has had a really good pre-draft. I mean, he's worked very hard. I'm happy to see him in the league. Mooch had opportunities in the league where he didn't do that well. He was into a Jazz roster where he didn't look too good. I mean, the Blazers was solid. Heat was his best moment. The Heat Check Gaming team that he was on, that was his best moment. But he didn't really do anything to really make me excited for him in the league and think that he's going to be a really good guard when he comes into next year. I mean, pre-draft, he had pretty good pre-draft. I mean, that's what it's about, is how good is he on the current game. Mooch and Gazuli both look good. I mean, this backcourt isn't too bad. I think the big glaring thing is, this defense. I don't know how I feel about Simo at center. Simo, everyone's saying he's a great center, awesome center. But it's just one of those things. There's no hatred. I have no hatred for anybody. I am being completely honest. I'm giving my projections. I don't hate Antoine. I think Antoine's a cool guy. I have no hate towards anybody. I just think I don't think he's good. I'm like, just because you don't think a player is good does not mean I hate them. I don't hate anybody. Okay? Like, if I hated him, I would be honest with you if I hated him. I don't hate him. I just don't think he's that good. There's a difference between hate and actually just thinking someone's that good. His Raptors is it's a transition roster. Seam and Hom connection is serious. Their defense will be fine. I mean, you're right, Big Face. I mean, I know they played together in the past. They have some type of history. So we have Antoine's stats from 2 weeks. Yeah, but that's like, when you're playing with nothing to lose, there's no pressure on your guard, okay? One thing we have to talk about in the NBA2KLeague, and we don't give enough, is like, there's a different, players play different when there's pressure versus when they have nothing to lose. If you're everybody wants to be an underdog. When you're a number one seed, there's more pressure being a number one seed than being the 8th seed Giants coming into the playoffs or whatever, the last seed playoff team. Like, there's always pressure on the good team to perform. And when a bad team takes our lead or takes momentum, that's when the really good team starts playing really bad, because it's like the expectations were here, now they're here, and it messes up the mental. Your team in seed weeks did not have anything to lose. There is nothing to lose off of seed weeks. If you're out there and you're relaxed, there's not really any pressure. There's no hey, it is what it is at this point. Let's just go out there and play ball. That's easier to do versus when you're in a situation where you're a top team or you're even in the brink of, like, you're in that middle run, you're a good team. There's more pressure on the good teams than there is on the bad teams. When you're on a bad team, like I said, there's not as much pressure, in my opinion. Yeah. What pressure does Antoine have going into the season? It's not even about, like, it's not about pressure coming into this season. It's about the fact that, like, his best performance was when things didn't matter. Like, I want to see Antoine when like in the early parts of the year, like, he has to perform. Like, there's more pressure early in the year to start out good than there is to be in the last week of the league, and the expectations have already been set, and they already don't feel that they're, like, in this position. Like, they already kind of have their set mindset and their set expectations. There's a lot. It's a lot different as you're in. It's a different situation. Those seed weeks is not as impressive as, like, playing in a tournament for money. Like, those seed weeks didn't, like, yes, seed weeks get you into position to try to make money, but it doesn't make you money. There's no pressure. It's like a regular season 2K League game. There's no pressure to play a regular season 2K League game, in my opinion. Like, back in season 1 when the NBA 2K League had regular season games, like, if you're in, like, listen, if like, there's certain, like, games that just, like, players play better because there's no pressure. Like, you're going to see like, regular season 2K League games, like, yeah, it mattered for you to get the playoffs, but at the same time, like, it wasn't as intense as the 2K League is now, where every game matters, where, like, one game could be the difference between you literally being, like, making money or being base salary. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of situations where it's like, I like the tournament format versus the regular season format because there's always pressure on every game. You're always playing for something. So it's like, there's always pressure. I like the constant pressure of there being something up for grabs. And I think this current format of the 2K League is perfect. If the 2K League ever goes back to regular season, I think that is a very bad idea. It just doesn't make sense for Twan. Twan's best weeks were when he had no pressure. That's my point. Twan's best weeks in the league was when there was no pressure. When he was on a good Warriors team and he was literally on one of the best teams in the 2K League, he played like shit. He was the reason this team struggled. Like, he was a big part of their downfall. If he can't play with the highest and play with the best players, what's going to make you think differently when he's on a lesser team? Like, now that he doesn't have, like, really good teammates and really good players, like, now he's on a lesser team, he's on a different position. Like, I just don't see it, man. This guy was, like, in the best position in the entire league, and he failed. Like, I hope to see him, like, progress this year, and hopefully he can take a step up being in a star level position. But unfortunately, I don't have any confidence in him. First time I saw him, he didn't show me that he's a good shooter. He's wide open for shots. It's not. I don't want to hear the grenade shit. I don't want to hear that he's getting the ball with like 2 seconds left. No, Keenan knows how to facilitate shooting guards, and he had opportunities. He just did not do his job. Okay, it's that simple. It's that simple. I'm going to be clean cut. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to be that friend that's going to say, no, man, you're great. Like, you're fine, bro. Like, no, I'm going to be honest with you. He played like shit. I mean, at the end of the Raptors season, at the end of the Cavs season, that's his best 2K. But also, his best 2K is when there was no pressure on the line. I want to see him be in a position where there's pressure on him. Okay? If he can step up, then you know what? I'll change it. But at this point, we're going to move on. We're going to keep moving forward. Like I said, Raptors. With the Raptors, though, like I said, we're going to rank them here at 18. Number 17, Celtics Crossover Gaming. Celtics Crossover Gaming, I don't know how I feel about Leche. Okay? Leche, again, another player that's been hyped around the Pro-Am community. I've seen him. I don't think he's a bad guard. I liked a guy like Tate more, but Leche seemed like it was their guy, which is fine. Everybody has their own guy, their own preferences. It's fine. This team looks like they're built around threes. They took a power forward in the first round to strengthen out their threes team before prioritizing their fives team. Okay? They got a threes power forward, not a fives power forward, a threes power forward. So that's obviously showing that the team is more focused on threes than fives. I think Leche has a lot of potential. It's a great pick because it can turn into something really good. There's a lot of potential in him, but I just don't have a lot of confidence in this team at fives. I mean, FT, he's been good in the past at shooting guard. Hopefully, maybe this is the opportunity for him to get back to playing well at shooting guard. But I just don't see this as a very strong fives team. Crizzy is, I think, is solid in fives. Really good at threes. Same thing with FT. Tazo's really good at. I think Tazo's good at both. Colt is a league average center, not a bad center, gets the job done. And then you have Leche, who, I mean, I don't know what the ceiling is for Leche. I mean, it's kind of tough. This is again another situation where it's boom or bust. It can be really good or really bad. I don't think there's any in between with this team. I don't know how this roster got better from last year when it comes to the fives perspective. Maybe threes, but fives. I'm just gonna say that I don't think this five side this team is gonna be that good. I think three side there's high expectations for this team. I think threes I have a very high expectation for this team. But for fives, the expectations are not that high for me for Celtics crossover gaming. Let's move on to the next one. So number 16. So these are the teams that are kind of getting more on like I would say the playoff aspect of things. Again, when we go to conference power rankings, we'll talk about it more. Mavs gaming. I'm very high on Mavs. I think the Mavs are really good. I think that when it comes to this roster, if we go over to the roster real quick, I'll show you. When we go to this roster, I liked what I saw at Kenny at the end of the year. Kenny is a very in-between guard, but again, I like the addition of Reed. I think I really like what I've seen at Jersey in this pre-draft. Follow hasn't been a bad lock either. I think that he was in a situation on the Jazz where, like, it was kind of like he was immediately pushed out of his position and Compete was put into the position that he was at. Follow's not a bad lock. I'm very interested to see how this defense is going to be. And then you have Glow, which, again, huge steal in the draft. But, again, I think it's going to be a good defensive team. Really, I think this is going to be a really good year for the Mavs. I think the Mavs might get – this could be a team that you don't want to play in the first round of the playoffs because I don't think they're going to necessarily be a high seed, but I think this Mavs team is going to be one of those teams that's like a low seed team that you run into and they punch you in the mouth and they get out of the first round. We've never seen Mavs gaming get out of the first round of playoffs, if I'm not correct. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. I think this is the time that they could actually do it with this little team. This is a little gritty team. And I think that people don't really factor this in. I think Dave Fry is going to be one of the best damn coaches in the 2K League, and he's actually going to he's going to revolutionize the coaching position, in my opinion, because I think he's always been an on-the-court coach. Now that he's not in the game, it's going to be a little different, but I think that he's actually going to get the better out of players and improve players and progress players, in my opinion. I think that Dave Fry is going to be one of the best coaches in the 2K League, maybe one of the best coaches that we ever see. He's a player that I think that is going to be good both in when he played and when he was a coach, so I'm just going to project it now. But that's where I have Mavs gaming. Up next, number 15. Number 15, Magic Gaming. Again, I like this Magic team a lot. It really drives a lot off of Unguardable. Unguardable is a very, very, very good player. I mean, we saw at the UPA event, obviously, what he did. Unguardable looks like he's one of the best guards in the world. I mean, you have other guys like Dre and all them, et cetera, et cetera. This is a guy who he's a fiend for he's a game hit. I mean, he's a dog. I think that for this team, it's really important what they can get out of Unguardable, but also it's important what their defense is going to be. Excited to see Oreo at center. Kind of more of a comfortable situation. I think that it's something that I think he's set up more to his strengths versus weaknesses when he's on this roster. I think that this is going to be a very good season for Oreo. I think that their defense is going to be pretty solid. I think that their offense is going to be phenomenal. And this team, I think, is going to be a lot better than I expect. I like the roster construction. I know Harris disagreed with the idea of getting Oreo. I mean, I know that he said there were some guys out in the draft that he felt that they could have gone with, but sometimes, it's nice to get these experienced players. I think this is a very well-rounded roster. There's not really any major concerns for me at this point. I think this is going to be a solid team, especially, I mean, look at this team. The only issue I see is that they're in the East. Again, the team that's in Eastern Conference. This is the gulag of the conference. I'm a little concerned for this team when it comes to that. That's the only issue lies with this team. Some people, again, I think they could be in the middle ground. But the middle ground's not always the worst thing. I think that they might kind of slip into playoffs again this year. But again, if Unguardable is the MVP finalist like I expect him to be, I wouldn't be surprised if the team is a lot better than middle of the league type of team. Up next, number 14 on my power rankings for the season 5 for 5v5. Grizz Gaming. Um, I really like this Grizz Gaming backcourt. Um, Again, it's pretty obvious what the most important thing about this team is, and it's CP, man. CP is the most important player on this team. If CP, a lot of people have questions. I've always had a question mark around him. There is a little bit of a bust potential around him because he's had a very good pre-draft team, but he's a good player. I think that I'm a little concerned because like he had one of the best teams. He had Johnny Red and Dimes, who are some of the best at their positions in the world right now. And it's like having players like that. Spartan's not Dimes. Reese is top 5, so that's good. But I don't think he's Johnny Red. Johnny's the best in the world right now at shooting guard. Um, we'll see if this team can equate to that, but it's like we have to see how well CP can be on his own. I don't think those questions got answered enough for me in the preseason, this pre-draft. But defensively too, I'm gonna have to see. Offensively they look good. I know Logic Stark's a good offensive lock. Defensively, he can be solid, but he's also a really big sleeper when it comes to just these rookie locks coming out. J Rod, not a bad player, but again, he's another average player. But you don't need your best player to be at that position. Is CP good at threes? Be serious. I think CP's not going to be bad at threes. I think that this team's going to actually be a pretty good threes team. I also think that when it comes to the Western Conference, it's a lot more all over the place when it comes to threes versus the Eastern Conference. I just think that there's a lot of openings for them to make it into the threes playoffs. But anyway, like I said, let me keep going, guys. Sorry, got sidetracked there. Let's move on to our next team. So, at number 13, Kingsguard Gaming. This team, it's going to be better than I know. Again, there's a lot of really good teams coming into this year, and the gap is not far between a lot of these teams. I think that the gap is closing more and more, and there's more and more really good teams in this league, where it's like their entire roster is just built out of just all good players. Reg is a good guard. Bash, a lot of people are really confident at Bash as shooting guard. I've seen him play shooting guard. Again, I think that the only issue I have with this team is like if there is struggles, this team could fall apart. I think the personalities could really clash on this team. Again, you have two guys who are ball dominant guys in the past. Bash is a ball dominant guy, and he's playing shooting guard. I don't really know how well it's going to succeed. I think that he does better with the ball in his hand versus being an off-ball player. But we'll see how that works out. This is going to be more of a two-guard set, each of them taking turns taking the ball up more than Reg being the primary guy. Ray, really good pick, great utility player. Interested to see him jump around, see what he does. Obviously, he's going to be a lock, which is he's good. He's a good lock. They also have Dimes as well, and they have Carey. Good, looks really good on paper, but it's kind of tough for me to be bought in on that backcourt working out. That backcourt is a little tough for me. Nudini noted. Oh man, oh Nudini. Yeah, but Kingsguard Gaming, the only thing is I have a question about their backcourt. Besides that, once those questions get answered, I will truly see how high the ceiling is for this team. But for now, I just think they're a middle of the run team, and I think that this ranking is kind of fair for them. For now, I'm sure that they're going to exceed it, but we will see. Number 12 on my power rankings for 5v5 coming into this season is going to be Warriors Gaming. Now this one might get some people going. Yeah, I have Warriors Gaming ranked 12th. I mean, you still have the same backcourt, but I don't know how I feel about Kenny and Native in the pick and roll. I mean, maybe there's something I don't see in Native, but Kenny on the lock, and then you have Native at the power forward. I don't know how I feel about this team when it comes defensively. A little worried about them. I mean, Hezi and all of them are good, but if their defense is not up to par, I'm a little concerned. I don't, again, people have said forever, Kenny can play lock, Kenny can play lock, Kenny can play lock. But can he play lock in the league at a high level? Is he better than Gradient? I don't think so. Is Native better than Chaos? I don't think so. This team got worse, in my opinion. Maybe I'm a little extreme on the drop off for this team, but right now, in my eyes, this team just bad. Like you have Mama and Kina and Hezi, which is not bad. I mean, at the end of the day, you can still be pretty good. I mean, the Western Conference, they're going to win a lot because they're in the West. But if this team was in the East, I don't know if they'd be a playoff team in the East. Let's be real. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. This team is probably not a playoff team in the East. But yeah. Yeah, it's about it for Warriors Gaming, though. I just don't have a lot of confidence in them. Kenny Unlock is OP. Plays guard, so he owns all the SIGs. Plus, on offense, he's going to make guard, levels, read, shots out the corner. Kenny came in second for Defense Player of the Year with 0 D badges. He's screwed at lock. Was that season 3? That was season 3, right? Okay, I was just making sure. That was 2 years ago. That's 2 years ago? Yeah, that was 2 years ago. It's a season. We're actually, this is going to be 3 years ago. This is season 6. We're 3 years later from that. We're 3 years removed from that. The game has definitely evolved. Defense has changed. It's a lot different now. Guards are a lot better. This league's a lot faster. It's not the same. As we go, players are just going to play better and better. And like a lock, maybe when he could have played lock 3 years ago, I don't think he can be that same type of player coming into season 6, in my opinion. But anyway, number 11, Hawks Talon, GC. The GC? I think it's Hawks Talon GC. I always get those like endings mixed up. GC. Hawks have a pretty interesting team to me. Hawks are very like hit or miss with me. I think Harris talked about this a little. It is Hot Shot. The season is really about what Hot Shot is. What's Hot Shot going to do? That's the most important thing. Kings 13 means you're a playoff team, basically, Dimes. Well, not basically, but you're in the... Actually, no, I lied. It's kind of like it's different for each conference. It's kind of different for each conference. You're kind of like in that ring of playoffs. Like this is where, like I said, like at 16 above is kind of like that ring of where teams start to make playoffs. You missed the entire conversation, Mama. We literally just talked about the Warriors. So, anyway, with this Hawks team, it's really big on. It's really present on what Hot Shot's going to be. It also is how good this season is going to be in fives. Gradient is good, but I also think that Gradient doesn't have the evil empire behind him, as Harris would say. Doesn't have that strong team around him like he used to. He's still a good player individually, but when you have to rely on your teammates to do things, I don't know how I feel about, like DeJuan. He's a solid player. Hotshot has struggled defensively. Offensively, he's not bad, but it's like this team might have offense, but their defense is kind of in between. Like Gradient's like that big, like centerpiece. Like he's your middle linebacker for your defense. Like he's gonna have to really like step up defensively for this team to be successful. But I think that them being a middle ground team is kind of where I have them. They'll be going in and out. They'll be fighting for playoffs. I think they're gonna be just outside the playoff picture. Maybe they slip through like that 5 or 6 seed, but I don't really see it, especially in a conference where it is the way it is. I mean, this conference is going to be unpredictable. To be honest with you, it's going to be I've said it, it's going to be the gulag. It's going to be a tough, gritty conference. Someone's going to have to lose games. There's going to be good teams that lose games, and I think that this Hawks team might be that team that falls victim to it. They're a good team. They're just going to be taking a lot of losses to these better teams. They're not a bad team at all, but they have a tough challenge, a tough uphill battle coming into the season, in my opinion. Number 10, Lakers Gaming. Answer the Polo question. Why won't Gliz be Rookie of the Year finalist? I think that when it comes to the production levels of C's, I think C's is going to take a high, unless Glizzy becomes like Kai, and again, people have said he can be Kai. It's also a bold prediction. It's not that I don't think he will be. It's that I think there's a slight chance that he's not a Rookie of the Year finalist. I think he might be that number 6 or 5 guy, possibly based off of the roster that's around him. It really just comes down to the other rookies too. It's not necessarily just because he's not a Rookie of the Year finalist doesn't mean he's having a bad season. It's not like I'm saying Glizzy's going to be bad. It's just that I think the other guards are in better set positions to put up numbers. We got Spam, who's the star point guard of a team. He's going to put up numbers when he has crazy at center. You have a lot of star level point guards. You have Greens, who's going to probably be that other guy, right? Star level guard, who's in a position to basically put up numbers. You have guys, again, if we're taking into account both 5s and 3s, maybe, again, well, not 5s and 3s. CP's another guy who's in a strong position. He's in a very strong position. He has a lot more control. It really just depends on the role they give him as a player. There's other players as well. Claude might be the only guy who can score on his team. Maybe Harvey is not. I don't think Harvey's going to take as much of the workload as Claude is. He's going to have more. He's going to have a higher usage rate. It's about winning too. I mean, Glizzy will probably be in it, but again, it's a bold prediction, guys. It's not supposed to be like by exact analysis. It's supposed to be a bold prediction. We have, I'd like to see a lock get into the finalists this year. I mean, I'm tired of seeing all guards, all offensive players. I'd like to see one of those guards. There's a lot of rookies in this class, man. There's a lot of rookies in this class. It's kind of tough, in my opinion. It's very tough. It's going to be a very tough challenge for the for the Rookie of the Year finalists. Even Kyverson. Let's say Kyverson's really good at threes, and he wins threes. We have to count for 3s and 5s this year when we do our MVP voting. He could be one of the best threes guys. Glizzy might not have that. Glizzy might not even play threes. If Glizzy doesn't play threes and Kyverson plays both, and let's say Kyverson's good at both, how does he not go over a guy like Glizzy? Because he's is obviously the starting guard for threes. Yeah, I mean, Greens is going to be in both 5s and 3s. Unless they're going to run double guard, I don't think Cease is losing his job in 3s. I know you're not a rookie. But that's my thing. You have to be in both modes. If you're not playing both modes, you're kind of you're at a disadvantage when it comes to the awards. We have to account for both modes. That's important. Glitch not going to be in both. That's something we have to look at. Oh, your name's in black because you were just one of the drafted players. Everybody that their names are in black is just drafted players. That's just so people can see who got drafted. Green was the already players on the rosters. Obviously, the West had a lot more drafted players versus the East. Anyway, Shock is getting people. Yeah, well, that's awesome, man. I'm happy for Dario. Anyway, you're getting egoed. Anyway, let's keep going, guys. Let's talk about this Lakers team. Like I said, with Lakers, you have Spam, Duck, Future, Greens, crazy. Like what I see out of the front court, but I don't like how I see out of the back court. Spam is good, but he does have a lot of inconsistencies. It's kind of tough, Spam need, Spam can be really good, but the problem is he needs a guy who can pick him up, and I don't know how well Duck is going to be able to do that at times when Spam needs him. Duck has to show me something this year. Duck is, again, that's their X Factor player. That's the most important player on their team. Can Duck step up when Spam needs him to? Because that's the most important thing for this team. But I think this team in the West, they're going to make playoffs. Like I said, the West is a lot more open compared to the East. But it's going to be tough. Up next, let's keep going because I want to get things moving. Number 9, Pacers Gaming. Pacers Gaming roster, brand new team. Cody basically pushed the reset button, brought in a whole new team besides Rain. Greenlight, Chess, Range, Jay Snags, and Rain. I mean, Greenlight's shown what he can do in the league. One of the best guards in this class. Only dropped because he wanted to go to a specific team. Greenlight is probably, I give like the LeBron comparisons and Wade comparisons. Like, it's hard to give an 0-3 comparison because he's another good player in this class. Like, he doesn't technically count for this class because he's not a rookie, but like, Greenlight's going to be good. Like, we know what Greenlight's going to do. People, Chess is getting another opportunity here. Obviously you guys know how I feel about Chess. I think he's a good guy. I'm not bought into his game. I don't think he's a good shooter. A lot of people say he catches hand grenades. I've seen him wide open for shots. His defense is good. I think he's a good defense player. This is going to be one of the best defensive teams in the entire league. Really good defensive team. Threes wise, they're going to probably be pretty good too. Greenlight and all them, Jay Snags, Range, we'll see with what he can do in threes. But this team defensively looks very well rounded, very good. It should be good, but difference between should and what it will be. Anyway, Pacers are ranked at 9. Number 8, Pistons GT. Pistons, obviously pretty good team last year. Had a lot of shifting around with roster pieces and moving people around. Kind of had issues with Radiant. Ant came in, got to change the whole thing when it came to threes. This year in fives, I think that, again, we don't know if 5-out's going to be in the league. We don't know if 5-out's going to be in the league. Everyone says 5-out won't be in the league. You can't say that. No one can say that they don't. Like, players are going this week, I think. I don't know if they went already, but players are supposed to go and try out the game. And they're going to try out the game, and we'll know if 5-out's going to be in the league this year or how good it's going to be. Because if 5-out is in the league, I'll tell you right now, this is going to be a scary team. Because Ant, when he's in 5-out, in 5v5, best fucking guy in the world. Best guard in the world in 5v5. But if there's not, probably not. But again, the league doesn't like watching it because they have PTSD from season 1 when people literally just watched one person score 30 points and everyone sat there and did nothing. Just joined and I'm leaving. Only one person won a championship in 5-out, so don't say best ever when Bear exists. I think that I think he is a better 5-out player than Bear, though. I think in the open court, Bear was always good at scoring. But I think that, Bear had was able to guess. He was very good at passing. I think that Ant is a better version of Bear in the 5-out. I think that Ant is better than Bear in 5-out. Bear is still good, but I think Ant is better in 5-out. I think that's Ant's best game. I think Ant could be the best guard in the world if he's in 5. 5-out. Do I have to answer for your crimes? I'll answer when the time comes. Anyway, appreciate all the follows, guys. Appreciate you guys. We're almost at 5,000 followers. Appreciate you guys. Let's go back to let's talk about, like I said, talking about this Pistons team though for 5s. Ant, Be Rich, Bag, Spammy, Ramo. I mean, Be Rich has already known what it's like to be in a championship team. Honestly, this team is going to be good. Uh, I mean, I have high expectations in threes, but fives, I think they're going to be pretty good too. Um, Be Rich is a great fit. Has been in a situation where he can just be that spot up shooter, or he can just be that that side guy. He doesn't have to be a main character or the superstar. He can just be a role player at the shooting guard position. That's exactly what Ant needed. You have Bag at the lock who does his thing. Spammy, who again, I mean that's Ant's guy. I mean Ant has already played with him. He's shown to be very good. He's a very good scorer. Good in the pick and roll. All around great power forward. I'm excited to see him in his rookie year. I would not be surprised if Spammy is an all-star this year. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'd like five out for variety. I'd like five out, but the thing is, the league that like from a viewership perspective, they're like I don't think they want that. I mean, I don't know if they people always complain about five out and watching five out, so I don't know if we'll ever see it back in the league just for that purpose, not for a competitive sake, but for the viewership sake. They might not like five out because once one team runs five out and it works, everyone will run it. So I don't know if there'll be a variety. If one, usually you guys don't do variety. A lot of you guys a lot of teams follow, and it's a copycat league, just like the NBA. The NBA is the same way. It's a copycat league. Anyway, let's move on to our next team at number 7. Number 7 is Heat Check Gaming. Heat Check Gaming. This is a boom or bust team. Boom or bust. There is a very, very interesting situation here because everyone's been high on Kyverson. People have been crazy about Kyverson. I think Kyverson can score at will. He's a great scoring guard. Passing, I don't know. I don't know how well he's going to be able to facilitate beast move. I mean, he'll have 2 months to figure it out, which is very beneficial for him. But threes, him and Bumpytron and Dietrich, going to be dogs. Absolute dogs in threes. But Kyverson, he's got some issues when it comes to just the way he communicates with his teammates. People know this. Coaches and GMs have spoken to me about this. They're aware of his personality problems. Hopefully that doesn't roll over to the league. Hopefully in person it's different. We've seen players like this before. We talked about a lot of people who people expected not to be how they are in person, and maybe that's how Kyverson is. Maybe Famous had an interview with Kyverson, saw a different side of him that people didn't see, that saw on their streams versus him in actual interview. I'll see what Kyverson could do. I mean, he's a scorer. I don't know how well things will go if things go south. I mean, there's ups and downs in seasons. It's all about how you handle those downs and how you get back up. And I don't know if this team gets down, I don't know how they're going to get back up if Kyverson can't lock in. That's the biggest red flag for this team is what is Kyverson going to be. I think that he has a lot of upside when it comes to his playing abilities, but his mental has to be locked in, and hopefully Famous can keep him checked in to lock in. But we've seen previous players on his team like Oh My One who checked out. Obviously, there was issues here and there with Sav, but overall, this team, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what the foreseeing future has with Kyverson at the PG position. But really good team if they can stay locked in. Up next, number 6. Number 6. Knicks Gaming. Sav was just a weirdo. That's what Sav was. Sav was a weirdo. That's his issues. Anyway, number 6 is Knicks Gaming. Knicks Gaming, again, they're returning with most of their roster. They're missing like 2 guys. Yeah, he's a weirdo. Anyway, Knicks Gaming up next. You have Radiant, Malik, Stick, Birch, Type. If he wasn't, well, then why did you let him go? Why didn't he get redrafted? That's the question I must ask. What was the issue? What was the issue with Sav? No, he wasn't that good, and he had a strange personality that didn't fit teams. Again, he's also a major dickhead to me. So maybe I have a different lens of him. But hey, my perspective versus yours. So anyway, Knicks gaming. Eh. Um, I'll come back to the Kings. Yeah. Oh yeah, I said it because I said it was it because he's in the pick and roll. Nah. Anyway, Knicks gaming. Knicks gaming has Radiant, Malik, Stick, Birch type. Um, I mean, good backcourt. Interested to see what this pick and roll is going to be with Stick and Birch. Harry, I mean, this is Birch's opportunity to show that he can play in the pick and roll and he can be a good player. Issue is if he struggles, it's probably immediately that Type goes back into the. Or they might even put Type in the pick and roll. Birch might just be in the corner to corner for this team. Might just be a role player. I feel like Type is going to stay in the pick and roll. There's no way you don't keep a defensive player like that in the pick and roll. Um, Stick and Type was a good defense. Uh, Draft grade? No, it's not draft grades again. I'm just showing the roster, and then we're going over to power rankings. Uh, number six, like I said, was Knicks Gaming. I think they're gonna have a really good defense. Their offense is still the same. Um, it's overall. I mean, it's a team that already went to the Final Four last year, and I think that they kind of have the similar roster to me. Um, very similar roster in my opinion with Knicks Gaming. Um, Knicks Gaming will be here at number six. Lock in. Number five. Do we want to make guesses? Do we want to make guesses who number five is? Where there's only so many teams left. Who's number five? Tox is predicting next gaming crew. Who else? Who do you guys think is number five? Genji. It won't be asked without Glow. I think they'll still be good. Who do you guys have at number five, chat? Nets. Alrighty. Sixers. Yeah. Number five, Nets Gaming Crew. Nets Gaming Crew at number five for 5v5. Um, he's got an insider. Oh man, you making predictions, Kena? Thought that was my job. Uh, no, yeah, like I said. Anyway, number five, Nets Gaming Crew. Obviously, you have a really good defensive front court. Their backcourt, I mean, Greens and Glenn have chemistry. Greens just looked like one of the best guards to ever enter this league of all time. He's got a lot. He has the perfect fit around him at this point. It really just comes down to Glenn being able to repeat the results that he did last year with the Hornets, being on a good team. He has this is the best roster I think the Nets have ever had formulated together. This team at this point is contending, in my opinion. But it really comes down to Green showing that he can translate to in person and be good. Um, I have seen Green's one time in person. He was pretty good. That's it. You know what I mean? I have one thing. I have one sample of him being good in person compared to spam. So we'll see if that stays consistent. Um, I mean, Greens has a lot of promise. I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about Greens. I think that he's going to show up and do his thing. This team is well rounded, very well rounded team. Um, anyway, Nets Gaming Crew is ranked at 5. Number 4. Chat, who's number 4? Who's number 4, chat? Number 4, Genji. Genji is number 4 for me. Um, Genji, that trade they made with Crush, I think was a big shift for them, in my opinion. Harris has always been high on Genji, and I've always been up and down with them or in between. This is the year I think that they've had. This is one of the greatest rosters they've put together. Um, very well rounded. Obviously, the big question mark is, will DJ take it a step higher than last year and be better in person? Gala is going to be an MVP finalist. I mean, it's kind of easy to predict. What's up, Mooch? I feel like it's pretty easy to project that Gallo is going to be an MVP finalist this year. Harris sees him as MVP. I see him as a finalist. It comes down to DJ. I mean, don't be wrong. I think that Blacko is important too, but I think that this team overall, like the biggest question mark is, what will DJ be? Will DJ be able to step up and be one of the best guards in this league? Can you zoom in Flacco's picture? No. Genji here at number 4. I think they're going to be good on both sides. I don't really have any doubt that this team's going to be a playoff team. I would guarantee this team's going to make playoffs this year. Up next, number 3, Bucks GG. Bucks GG, still very good team. Obviously, won the title last year. Different kind of team. You know, they had Bucks Magic last year. I don't know how much of that magic is still there, because they obviously got rid of Cease, who was one of their, big players in the pick and roll for their defense. They're, obviously you still have Dawsix, that defensive anchor guy who was, very vital to their defense being good. But, you exchange Dimes for Walnut. What's the difference between Dimes and Walnut? That's the biggest question I have to ask myself. I mean, Walnut is... he's always been a numbers guy in this league. I've yet to see his numbers equate to deep runs in tournaments, and I have a fear that this Bucks team is going to be the Blazer 5 of season one and get first rounded in the playoffs. I think they're going to be a really good tournament team throughout the year, but I have a feeling once the Bucks team goes against a really good playoff team, that they're one of those teams that could be first rounded. But Johnny Red looks like the best fucking shooting guard in the world. Dawsix is still him. Cooks, I mean, he's asked Monopoly, but he's pretty good at 2K. But Walnut, I mean, Walnut's always been good, but I've yet to see Walnut get over that hump of just like actually winning when it comes, winning. Like, he puts up numbers, but he's yet to actually win, like when it comes to playoffs and getting out. But the champs go to number 3. Yep. Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, shit. I guess he can be Wilt Chamberlain. We'll talk about that. That's gonna be my awards predictions. Like, when I do a stream for award predictions, we'll project tournaments and stuff like that. That'll probably be on another stream. Not gonna essentially say that yet. I want to do that on the award prediction stream. Yeah, but this is Bucks GG, and I have them ranked at number 3 in my power rankings coming into the season. Number 2. 76ers GC. 76ers. Dog team. It's the same team from last year, but basically they exchanged Yusuf for DJ Money. This team really shocked me in the playoffs. They were a favorite. They got into the playoffs, got into a tough series, and lost. I mean, they were right there. This is one of the most dominant. I feel like this was a very good team last year. They just fell short last year. I think this is their year to get to the NBA. To the NBA2KLeague finals. But it's the team that we got to see how much better their defense is. Their offense is there. Will their defense get them there? DJ is going to be one of the most vital pieces to this team. It's literally going to come down to, is DJ going to be better than Yusuf? I mean, he looked good on that Hornets team. It's just gonna. That's what it's going to come down to. I mean, Dre will probably be an MVP, if not the MVP. Like he'll be an MVP Finals, if not the MVP. But 630 is going to be it's one of the best backcourts, if not the best backcourt in the league. Their defense is really important. Eli is obviously a good lock. DT was one of the best fucking power forwards in the league last year. This team's ready for a title. Jets ready for a title. Thing is, they just got to finish when they get to playoffs, but that's why they're my number 2. And I think you guys all know who number 1 is. At this point, I think that it's no secret who number 1 is at this point. Number 1 in my NBA 2K League Season 6 5v5 Power Rankings is T-Wolves Gaming. They're contenders. I mean, they're contenders. They've been contenders for the last 3 years. This team's just got to get past it. I mean, the West is wide open. The West is wide open. It's not like, you got Splashy, who is gone. This Lakers team's kind of wishy-washy with what they are compared to last year. It's like, I don't know what team has stepped up to the plate. The Warriors have gotten worse, in my opinion. The teams that were all threatening the T-Wolves are not the same. I mean, the Pacers maybe could be a threat this year. Maybe they're like that Lakers gaming team that's like a 4 seed coming into the year this year. But like, I think there was a lot of teams that took a step back. That T-Wolves team has stayed together. The Bucks team is different. The Warriors team is different. The T-Wolves are still that same team with that same roster. They add Clampism. It's like, I mean, shit. This team's in a good position to make a run. Again, I hate to set the expectations high for this team, but I think they have the same expectations. It's title or bust. Like, it's that simple. There's no, we want to get to the Final Four. We want to get to the Western Conference Finals. No, it's title or boom. I mean, it's title or bust. It's that simple. There's no other way to look at this Steelers team, and they've played under pressure situations. It comes down to Bear. Bear has to play well. Teams are going to look at Bear last year in playoffs and be like, Bear, you have to beat us. Not Kai, not Slaughter, not Shifty, not even Clampism. It's going to be Bear. Bear will be the reason this team gets to the title. Bear has to push himself. Bear has to be one of the best PGs in the Western Conference to even get to the finals, and he's got to get that team over the hump. Simple as that. It comes down to Bear. Bear's going to have to push this team through. We look back to the Season 2 T-Wolves team. Bear was the best player on his team. Now, Bear is not the best player on his team. You know what I mean? Bear is, arguably, the second or third best player on his team. He's got to push his team to that limit. He's got to bring back that Season 2 Bear and play the best of his abilities to get his team to that finals. So T-Wolves Gaming is my number 1 seed at this point. Expectations are high. I think they can live up to it. So that is my number 1 team in the overall power rankings for Season 5. All right. Move him up. Anyway. You guys want to do conference? You guys want to do conference power rankings? I have conferences now. We can do conference power rankings. Yep. You're number 20. Number 20. Yep. Like I said, been a long stream. What do you guys think? What team am I too high on and what team am I too low, chat? Let me know right now. Nah, we can do conferences. We can do conferences still. Because conference is a little different. Conference is more about how I think teams pan out against each other. Move the Jazz up. He has Rhea. I mean, Warriors Gaming. I mean, I have Warriors Gaming in the playoff picture, kind of. Too low on the T-Wolves. Too high on the Nets, too low on the Cavs. I do think I might be a little low on the Cavs. The highest I'd move the Cavs. Like I said, this is the highest I'd move the Cavs. I'd move all these teams back and move the Cavs here, set to 17. That's the highest I'd move them. But even then, actually, I think the Hornets are better too. Honestly, I think that the Cavs at 18, Hornets here. Yeah. That's more of what I see. Snow Overwatch. How's it going, Mickey? How's it going? My guy Mickey, man. My guy Mickey. Welcome, man. Welcome to the 2K community content, man. I'm glad that you are finally watching, Mickey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ooh, man. Here, screenshotting for the end of the season. Well, you know what? Like I said, you guys, I said the number 4 pick was going to be Darko. Right now, Claude is looking like Darko from the 03 class. We made the comparison on BFW, if you didn't see it. I said that Spam is going to be LeBron. Carmelo is going to be Greens. Wade is going to be Glizzy. Chris Bosh can be Bray or Dimes, whatever you pick through. And then whoever the 4th pick is going to be Darko. And right now, Claude is going to be the Darko of the 03 class for this class right now for the NBA2KLeague. The team was down to 10. Oh, Mickey's here. Mickey's here. Mickey hides in the shadows, man. Mickey works in silence, man. I know Mickey's here. There's only one Snow OW in the Snow OW. There's only one Snow OW, man. All right. Hopefully, like I said, the biggest thing about the Blazers is they need somebody that's going to coach that team. The crazy thing is there's still a really good guy out there. There's some good coaching candidates still out there. They need a coach. I know that last season they had what happened. I am nowhere and everywhere. He's in the shadows, dude. He's got the hood. Mickey's got like the hood up, just lurking in the shadows, man. I respect it. Nah, I think Mickey is made to be a GM. I like Mickey. I think they need a coach. I think they need a coach that is able to game plan and know what they're doing in the 2K League stuff. Just like you were. I've seen Mickey. I've seen Mickey. I haven't spoken to Mickey, but I'll tell you right now, they need a coach. I think they need a coach. They need somebody that knows what they're talking about when it comes to 2K. I don't think the players are gonna fully buy into Mickey. It's nothing against Mickey. They have to be bought into the person that's coaching them. I'm being honest. I don't. It's gonna be. You're gonna have to fight through players respecting Mickey to be their coach. It's nothing against Mickey. It's just that this is how it's the culture of the 2K community. It's the culture of how this community works and how they are. You have to have somebody in a position that these players can trust, and I mean, it's like I don't know. I find it kind of tough to see Mickey step into that role. I mean, I just find it tough. But hey, I guess if you believe in him, well, I wish the best for him. But I don't really think that the players are going to be bought into him, especially the fact that there was players drafted there that didn't even know they were going there and they weren't even interviewed. So it'll be very interesting to see what will happen this season. Yeah. Well, we'll see. What was your raising on 24? I kind of already went through it. Juice. I mean, I'm gonna eventually post this VOD on YouTube. If you want to go back and watch it. I mean, I know everyone wants me to explain each ranking again, but I kind of want to go through the power rankings of conferences. But we'll see. I'm excited. I'm interested to see how that Blazer season is going to be. I don't really. Again, I know that Cameron. I know you were in a position where you didn't need to be a coach back in season 1 and 2, but the league has evolved. The league. It's not the same. you don't have Mama and Walnut as your star players. Your star player is Jomar, who was originally your sixth man. And now I don't even know who your second star player is. Is it Chaos? Is it Claude? You have an 18-year-old. If an 18-year-old kid is your leader and your star, then that's a big thing for you to ask of. So I'll be very interested to see what the Blazers are. I'm not shit talking Jomar. I'm being honest. Jomar is a leader, but at the same time, like, Jomar's not Walnut. I'm being real. Jomar's not Walnut. He's not Mama. Like, it's not the same dynamic. Not every team is going to work out like your season 1 and 2 team. And if you base your team based off of that model, then it's not going to work. That's not the league is not like that anymore. That's very tough, but it's a very tough ask for an 18-year-old kid. It's very tough. You need, especially because he's moving across the country. I just think you need someone there he's comfortable with that can like help him and help mold him into the good player that he is. Coaches are so important, especially coaches that not only understand like the coaching aspect, but also understand the 2K aspect. Like, I just think it's really important that you make sure that you have that, you know, down in pat. Like, I think that's really important. You know, I just think, again, maybe I don't know anything, but it's every 2K League team that's won a title has had some type of good coach on it. I mean, look at the teams that make title runs. All right, Knicks Gaming, Kyle Rudy's a good coach. Season 2, I mean, JB stepped in and was great at coaching. Even JB to this day is still a good coach. I know that Nick is the main coach, but JB's still good at what he does. Season 3, Wizards District Gaming, Pat's a good coach. I mean, even Season 4, I mean, you had Comp, who's been a good coach in this league. You've had a lot of good coaches in this league. Like, do you think most of these teams could win without a coach? Because Mickey's not a coach. Mickey's not a 2K coach. He could be a general manager or a player manager, but he's not a coach. That's just that simple. I'm not a coach. So I don't apply for coaching positions. I'm not a coach. That's not my role. It's not my place. I can manage players. I can tell you what the right picks are, but I'm not a coach. What knowledge he brought the coach, but the thing is, it's not like what's happened as the game has evolved. Mickey, like you have to understand the game has evolved. Like where you can't get away with not running plays and schemes. You can't in this league anymore. You can't just go out there and call pick and roll. Like you can't go out there. Like the coaching has progressed since season 2. JB, all you needed at that point in the league was to have somebody who was a good personality, like be able to manage personalities and like be a leader. But at this point, you need coaches that are able to call plays, know situations, like when it comes to like sets and stuff like that. That's important now. I mean, you can't get away. I know, but you can't get away in this league anymore with just having a random guy just stand there with a headset on. Like, there's a skill gap in coaching. I get it's dragging, but I'm just being honest. There is a skill gap in coaching. It is a crucial, vital piece. And that's why that a team like the Mavs, they're not only going to be better because they have the roster they have, but they have a really good fucking person in the coaching position that's going to excel that team to get more wins during their season. I'm just being honest. Like, coaching is so important now in this league. It's not the same as it was in Season 2. Like, it's not what it was in the early seasons. That's the problem is I feel like that the dynamic of your team is something that would have worked in the past, but in the present, it's not the same. Like, we've evolved as a league from that sake. And if you have that mindset, then it's going to stay in that mindset. Like, I'm just being honest. The league has evolved. Players have gotten better. Players didn't run fucking plays. Players didn't believe the 2K League, there would ever be plays in it. People that just thought you could run pick and roll and 5 out and just be fine. Players didn't believe in that. Now, every team has a coach for a reason. Like, every team runs certain plays. Like, there's just so many different things coming in. Like, Kings didn't exist. You know, like, teams didn't, like, call blitzes and like that. People just went out there and played defense and ran pick and roll. Like, the Season 1 champs the Season 1 team with the Heat Check Gaming team, they just ran 5 out and had hot shot go off. Enough. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm just saying you need a coach. I mean, I know you don't want to listen to me because I am me. But when we get to the end of this and you are one of the bottom 10 teams in the league, just remember this point. Just remember this team. Remember, if you guys are a bottom 10 team, I'm right. Okay? I'm right about you guys if you guys are a bottom 5 or bottom 10 team. And I know damn well you don't want me to be right. But if you guys don't hire a coach, you will not. You will. I can guarantee you, if the Blazers do not hire a coach, they will not make the playoffs in 3v3 or 5v5. I'm being honest. You need a coach. You can't. You gotta get a coach. You gotta get a coach. It's so vital. It's so vital, in my opinion. Anyway, let's move on to the conference. Um, let's move on to the conferences real quick. It's not important. All right, you want I can give you the Discord link, comp. I got you. Hang on, I got you, comp. Because again, I know we're gonna get it. We're gonna get into the conferencing, but I'd love to hear from comp because I think comp wants to talk about something real quick. Drag you? Just join. It's an open chat. No, we didn't do 3v3 rankings. I think we'll do that another stream. Oh, exclamation Discord. Go ahead and put us 13. Yeah, no, again, it's no hard feelings on the Blazers. I like what Cameron has done over the years. I do. But I think that I understand why they feel the way they do. But I'm telling you right now, it's wrong. It's dead wrong. Like they're gonna see what happens when you don't have a coach in the position that knows. Like again, Mickey is a good person, I'm sure, but Nicky to go from what he is to stepping up to the plate, I don't know. That's a tough ask of Mickey. It's a very tough ask. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. But at least they understand the game. At least they understand the game. At least I can respect. Like, if you tell me something, I can respect it. Like, they run pick and roll and 5 out, but that's mainly what basketball is pick and roll and 5 out. Like, there are other sets, but I'm just saying, like, those are, like, very common sets. You don't just need a coach, you need a good coach. All those coaches have skills beyond 2K. I'm not saying 2K is the only thing. Champ, can I ask you a question? You constantly talk about influence from other esports and that being an integral part for growth in our team. Be Fire hires a former Overwatch pro to coach their team, and you hate it. I don't get it. It's not that I hate it. It's that I think he needs different reps. I don't know. Like I feel like at this point you need reps at a coach. It's kind of tough to just step in from being a GM to going down to being a coach. Like I think that he doesn't have the reps. I mean, at this point, he's going to have a lot of catching up to do as a coach. I don't know. I just think it's a very big ask. Very big ask. I'm getting on with the rankings. I respect people coming from outside the 2K community, but I haven't seen the reps. Yeah, but did he have the headset on? Was he coaching? I mean, listen, if he's been like a coach and at the whole time, like I mean, shit. Then you know what? I'll shut my mouth. But has he worn the headset? Has he like if I give him the IQ test that the players took at UPA, is he going to know everything on there? And Nick, you know what the test looks like. You saw some of the questions. If I give him that test, is he actually gonna know like how to answer the questions? I mean, I mean, I can't answer all that stuff. That's why I'm not a coach. I'm just asking if he can if we gave him a test that they use the IQ test. They use an IQ test at the UPA event. I would like to. I would love to see how much he truly knows when it comes to like competitive 2K. I'm being honest. Like I don't think I would have done amazing on that test because I don't know everything. Because I don't spend as much time because it's just like I'm in and out of things. We're about to go through it. We're about to do it. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I mean, listen, it's fine.
Chip. Don't bring me. I looked at the IQ test and I did the IQ test and I helped you guys curate it, but don't bring me into the IQ test. I have nothing to do with what you guys are doing over there. It's between
No,
me and
no, no,
Cam.
no, 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 no.
I'm just saying out here.
I know. No, you're not in it. You're not in it. I was just saying. I was
I'm
just
out of
saying.
here. I'm out of here.
Okay.
I don't want no parts of this.
Because I'm not a coach, but I'm saying that I think most coaches could pass that test. Looking through the test. I mean, again, Cameron, we'll see. I mean, I don't believe in you. I don't believe in your team right now. I don't think you guys are gonna be a good team. If you guys don't make the playoffs, I'm right. Okay, I can guarantee you, I don't think you guys are making the playoffs on the other side. But what has he done to show that he's ready to be a coach? That like, what has he done? What has he done to show that he's going to be a coach? Like, is it like I don't understand. What has he done to show that he's going to be a coach? Like, I don't know. You know what? They're dead. I don't know anything. I'm wrong, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see when the season comes around. I'm sure I'll hear from players and people. I'm sure I'll find out. I'm sure I'll see. I mean, hopefully you guys can make it to in person at least this season. That's the biggest thing. I mean, I hope you guys can at least make it to the Central Market for games. I mean, otherwise you guys are going to be spending a lot of time in Portland this season. But anyway, moving on. Moving on. I'm going to do conference. And I respect that. I listen. I respect that, Mickey. It's nothing I have against Mickey. It's nothing I have against Cameron. I just don't think it's going to work out. I don't think it's going to be good. That's how I see it. No low hate. No like I have nothing. I don't hate the people. It's just my analysis is how I look at it. I don't think it's going to work. That's that simple. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to conference. All right. Alrighty. Going into our conference. Let's see. Which conference do you guys want to do first? East or West? Um, let's do let's do the Eastern Conference first, and then we'll work our way through. All right. Now, time to do NBA 2K League conference power rankings. So again, some of these might, be a little questionable because I didn't like look I didn't like 100% pay attention to like what I had on the regular power rankings overall for its conference. Also, I think teams match up differently in their conference compared to where they are in the power rankings. I might have to make some adjustments as we go, but we'll just get started. Number 13, Oz Gaming. I've already talked about this Oz Gaming roster. I don't think they are that good in fives. I think they'll be better in threes. I don't think they have a full team for fives like some teams do. I think they're just not very well molded around. I think they have a good defense. Offense, I don't think is there. Number 12, Wizards District Gaming. Again, team that you have Nugini at center. I mean, taking Nugini off his best position already tells you this team is kind of running thin. I think that, Dini will eventually go back to power forward because his team might struggle and they might need that stronger defense to help push them forward. I just don't think this team is going to be that good on offense. I think that they have a very average offense. I think Cap will have spurts here and there, but I just don't think consistency is going to be a thing for the Wizards. This will be the worst year in Wizards district history, in my opinion, coming into season 6. Up next, number 11, Cavs Legion. I might actually move this Cavs Legion team up. I just have to see the other team. Again, Cavs Legion, I'm probably going to move them up a couple spots depending on the rest of the teams. But Cavs Legion, I like their defense. Got to see another backcourt that I don't know if there's consistency. Like these 3 teams I've listed, backcourt's all in question. I mean, I think the Cavs are a little more like concrete compared to like the Wizards and Oz Gaming, but I don't know how I feel about this Cavs Legion team when it comes to this Eastern Conference. Up next, Hornets Venom. Hornets, another backcourt, kind of in the question mark. Don't know what else he out of Bougie. Rigby hasn't played for a year. Rigby, I've heard a lot of rumors that he hasn't looked good. A lot of people are concerned. I mean, he'll have a whole month to get better, but I don't know. Maybe their defense can get him there. Maybe Bougie will be Joe Flacco. I don't know. Maybe they'll have the Ravens defense, from the Hornets, and that can excel them. That's like how I would see their season going. Up next, oh nope, shit. Why is this not popping up? Oh, I guess I accidentally removed a logo. Well, we'll keep going. I don't know who I'm missing. We'll see. That's number 7. Okay. Number 8, Raptors Uprising. Raptors team that I really just another team that is all over the place. I like their backcourt, but I don't like their defense. So it's like vice versa. It's like the rest of these teams, I like their backcourt. I'm actually going to move. I think I'm going to move the Hornets. I'm definitely going to move the Hornets. I think the Hornets are going to be definitely better than the Raptors. I'll put them here. I don't know who I'm missing, what logo I'm missing on here, but we'll see. But Raptors, like I said, like the backcourt. Don't really like the defense. I don't know how I feel about seeing him at center. As well. So we'll see. We'll see how things pan out. Putback. I mean, hopefully he can have he can step up. The craziest shit I read. Anyway. I don't think the Cavs are going to be. I think that again. I said this. I'm going to move the Cavs up. I think the Cavs are better than the Raptors, in my opinion. I don't think that. I told you, like I kind of was rushing to get the logos on here. So, like I said, there's going to be adjustments here and there. That's an adjustment. I would say they're right there. Number 7, Hawks Talon. Another team. I think that it has a lot of good plus side to it, but again, Hotshot's a big question mark on what he's going to be this year. I don't know how good C's is going to be in fives. I mean, he has a much better shooting guard compared to Witness, so maybe that's the difference maker. This team is probably going to be in the range of 5. Like I would say, from 4 to 8 is probably where this team is going to be all season. They're going to be fighting to be in that kind of that middle ground. I don't think they're going to be a top 3 team. I mean, only 6 teams make playoffs, and I think that they might be that team that makes it by the like barely in the playoffs. I think they'll be very close. Up next, Magic Gaming. I think Unguardable is just going to be one of the best guards in the world this year. It's that simple. Big part of this team. I think they have a very well-rounded roster. A lot of solid pieces on their team. Nothing is like in question for me, so I think that's why. I don't think there's a single player on their team I'm really like, oh man, I don't know about this. Like they have a very solid roster, so I think they're going to be like, again, the Hawks could be like that team that jumps them. Like I think the Hawks and Magic are going to go back and forth all year between placement of where they are in the conference. This is for 5s, yeah. This is for 5. It's 5v5. It says 5 right there. I said this. You guys are going to be back and forth. I think that these like placement of the Hawks is going to be between. It's going to be a dogfight from all these teams. From like I think you're going to be in the dogfight. You're going to be in the middle ground. You're in the Eastern Conference, so I think that it's just going to be a lot of middle grounding for you guys overall all season. Up next, Knicks Gaming. I mean, Knicks have the same backcourt. They grab Type, for Glow. So I think Type has always been a pretty good defender. Jesus Christ, Witness. Oh my God. Witness. Anyway, Jesus. Um. Anyway. Moving on. Moving on. In case you're struggling, Jesus. Um. Anyway, moving on. Number 5, like I said, Knicks Gaming. Really like their. I mean, they're coming back with the same team. I don't know. I think they're going to be the same team this year. I think they're going to be a Final Four ceiling type of team. They're going to make a deep run. They're still going to be really good. They have one of the better backcourts, and their defense is still good as well. Number 4, Nets Gaming Crew. Nets are. I mean, the Nets are dogs. I mean, they have everything they need. They finally have a PG. They were a PG away from actually being good last year, in my opinion. Now they have that PG. They add a shooting guard who has chemistry with their point guard as well. Glenn has looked really good last year. Now he's on a team where he has an actual PG. It should be a really good year for the Nets this year, in my opinion. Number 3 is going to be Heat Check Gaming. Heat Check would have, if they would have actually had a point guard who had thumbs who could play 2K, they would have been good. They would have probably been a title contender. But this year they have a PG that looks like he has thumbs. We just have to see how well he can lock in and not get, out of 2K, I guess you would say. That's the question around him at this point. But he's a good player. Very good player. But I think I got you. I mean, I think that 3 is best placement for them. Maybe it's a little high, but I have high expectations for this Heat team. They have a much better skilled 2K player at the PG position this year. And I think that for them, 3s wise, they're going to be dogs. But in 5s, I think they're going to be good as well. Number 2, Gen G. I think Gen G, appreciate the 26-person raid, Book. Appreciate it, man. Hope all is well for you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Up next is Gen G Tigers. Again, Gen G, very well-rounded roster. Really comes down to what DJ is going to be this year. Crush and Feast and who's their power forward? Flacco. Flacco, all of them. Yeah, they're going to have the defensive side. Just going to come down to offensive consistency. Oh, Celtics crossover gaming logo pops up now. Oh, so I'll put the Celtics. Put the Celtics. I'm going to put them here at 11. I don't know why it popped up now, but Celtics crossover gaming. We'll put them here at 11. I'll explain the Celtics. Like for the Celtics team, it's like I don't know how I feel about Leche. They were. I mean, the Celtics were a solid team last year in 5s. They just weren't good enough. They were always in the middle. Actually, I'm gonna keep the Raptors. I'm between the Raptors and Celtics. I think are going to be in similar places. They're going to be neck and neck in my opinion. Those teams. But like, look at this conference. Like, the team that a team I feel like I might be the most wrong about is probably the Heat or the Magic at this point. But I think that they're both looking pretty good coming into the season. Number 1 in the Eastern Conference, the only team left, 76ers GC. Good ass team. Good ass team. I mean, dude, they had the same team from last year. They just added DJ. Just got to finish the job in playoffs. I mean, they've won the churn last year. Went to the finals in the tip-off. I mean, it's just they look like one of the best, and they're coming back with that same team. While other teams are in like a reset, rebuild mode. They are very, very, I think, very well polished as a team coming into this season. And I mean, they have two of the best. They have the best backcourt in the Eastern Conference. That's just no doubt. Best backcourt in the Eastern Conference, and they have a really good defense as well. DJ is like what I have to see what DJ pans out to be for this team. But besides that, I think that they're the most well polished team, the team I'm the most confident in at this point to be good this year. What team am I really high? What team am I really low when it comes to the Eastern Conference, in your guys' opinion? Because at this point, all the teams are in the bubble. So let me do something real quick. Because all these teams right here are my playoff teams. Let's do this. All right. These are all my playoff teams. These are my playoff teams. Is it not? Oh, I hate when this happens. All right. Bucks in the West are. That's interesting. Yeah. I just want to have this. Yeah. Forgot how to do it. Shit. Oh wait. There we go. Looks weird. Do this. All right. There we go. All right. Sorry, I went the. You guys know me by now. I'm a fucking perfectionist. I like to have things look decent. All right. All right. There we go. Appreciate the follow. There we go. All right. Just because I want to clarify my projected playoff teams at this point. All right, we'll move on to the next conference. All right. I think actually Coach Juice in here. What's up, Book? How's it going, man? What's wrong with the NBO Oz Gaming backcourt? Uh, bring playoffs down a little more. Hopefully that's better. All right. All right. Let's move on to the Western Conference. Just give me a second, guys. It's all right. All right, cool. All right, so we have the East, and we have now we're going to do the Western Conference. Hang on, sorry, I want to move these numbers over. All right, cool. All righty. All right. I wonder if we make it out of last. There's actually a team that I think is going to be worse than you guys, so. You guys won't be the worst. You won't be the worst. You'll win a couple good games here and there, but it's going to be a rough year for Portland. Rebuild year. At the end of the day, everyone's going to look at it and be like, oh, they lost all their players. It's a rebuild year. You guys don't even have a future pick. Oh, fuck. Oh, good luck. Good luck. Damn. No. That's I forgot about that one. Anyway. Let's see. What are we at? We're at this conference now. All right, let's start it. All right, to start off for the Western Conference at number 12, we have Duke's Infinitos. I think Vandy could shock me. And I mean, Vandy's not a horrible fives guard, but I don't know. I feel like this team is more built around threes and fives than anything. I think that the focus has been 4 threes. It just seems like a very strong threes team and not a fives team. Don't know how I feel about heads cap and fives. I feel like that them being 12 at fives, I don't care. I think they're more focused on threes. This seems like a very threes team compared to a fives team. There's not really anything on their team that makes me think otherwise. Number 11, Jazz Gaming. Jazz, again, not a bad team. When it comes to threes, just nothing in fives. So tired of it. Terrible. That's the Brooklyn way. I just don't think this Jazz team is going to be good, like great in fives. I mean, they might be solid. Again, I think most teams in the league have very good players. I just think compared to others, you get a pass. I mean, yeah, it's a year where your highest pick was in like the 40s or whatever, or not 40s, the 30s. Highest pick was like in the 30s for you guys. I don't expect you. There's not supposed to be a high expectation for you guys. You had a top pick. You traded 2 first-round picks for your former 6-man. It might go. I mean, listen, Joe Mar's a good player, but that might go down as one of the craziest trades ever in this league. Like no one gets traded. Like even 630 didn't even get traded for that. That's insane. Like I don't know. I that's just again. Cameron, you've done great things. I've rated you as a high GM in the past. I don't know what you still do for the Blazers, but if that was one of the choices, I don't know. That was that's one that you'll have to answer to when the season comes. I don't know who made that decision, but whoever decided to do that one, I'm very curious. Very curious because that's a crazy one to me. Blazers here at 10. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, I just do a service that no one else will do. I talk about teams. I give my honest opinion. Hopefully, one day the 2K League will, in a way, find a way to use this type of content to build our audience out. Obviously, it might not be the most traditional content compared to most sports, but it's what people like. People are entertained by it. I mean, the community likes this content. It's about kind of pushing it more for our actual fan base to see that exists. But like I said, I mean, I try to do my part. I might not be perfect. I might not have the perfect analysis, but it seems like you guys like this content, and like I said, that's why I do it. I wouldn't do this if people didn't like it. People obviously want to listen, but yeah, like I said, I mean, I wish the best for the Blazers. I just don't think they're going to be that good this year. Grizz Gaming, number 9. Grizz Gaming. I might have to move them up. Actually, I have to see who else is in the Western Conference. I feel like I'm really rating this Grizz team really low. Let me see who I have up next. Kingsguard Gaming. Oh yeah, it gets kind of crazy. Grizz Gaming, really good backcourt. Don't know how I feel about their defense. Their defense is kind of in question for me. Their defense is all over the place. I don't know how Logic Stark J-Rod and Spartan are going to be as a collective defense. I think that's going to be their biggest downfall, and they're going to expect really good play out of their backcourt to be successful this season. So, Kings have a way better defense, and I think they have a middle ground backcourt. Backcourt that could be good, but I'm kind of iffy with it. I mean, it's all about how well Bash and Reg can get along when it comes to just tough situations throughout the season. I think they'll be better than I'm rating them. They'll probably end up being a playoff team, but they'll probably be like that 5 or 4 seed. I don't expect them to be like a top 3 team, but I think they'll be a good team. They're definitely like a very, very interesting team in my opinion. 7 is Mavs Gaming. Honestly, I might be rating Mavs Gaming way too high because I look at that Kings team more and more. They look good. I think that this Kings team, I mean, the Mavs, I said in my bold predictions, I think they're going to make playoffs. I'm still iffy on them too, though, at the same time. But I think that they're in a very, very interesting place. Oh, I didn't realize I have to fix this. I didn't realize that I didn't make this big enough. Forgot that it's because of the way the teams work in this conference. There we go. Here we go. Expand this. There we go. Sorry. Had to fix that, guys. Alrighty. Alright, now we get into our playoff teams. Like I said, I think I'm going to probably make some changes as we go here, but number 6, Lakers Gaming. I got to see that the question around Duck get answered. Until I know Duck can actually, be good. I'm in question of what he's going to be able to do for the team this year. But yeah, that's my. I mean, like I said, I think that for them, it all comes down to Duck. I mean, I think their defense is going to be fine. I think they have a good team, but Duck is a major crutch to this team if he's the same Duck he's been in the past. Number 5, Warriors Gaming. I'm actually going to change this. I'm moving the Warriors back. I don't think they make playoffs. Very stuck on this Warriors team because I have them 5 here, but I just don't know how I feel about them. I'll explain the Pistons when I get there. I'm gonna keep keen on them in the playoffs, bro. They oh man, it's so hard. The Warriors they still have Keena at point guard. Keena always makes runs. I'm always gonna trust Keena. I'm always gonna trust them. I'm gonna keep them there at 5. I think they're gonna be jumping around all season though. This is gonna be a tough year for them. Very tough year. I think they're going to be jumping around a lot. They're going to see how much gradient matters to this team. For 4, Pistons GT. Pistons. What I like about them coming into this year, I'm aiming that I think pre-game Jordan playoff span for the number 1 seed. We will see. I'm going off the fact that I think that if 5 Out is in the league this year, they're going to be dogs. And we're going to find out this week. I think 5 Out's going to be in the league this year. I've been hearing some murmurs and some whispers that there's a possibility it's going to be in the league. And if it's in the league, this team is going to be good. So I'm going to keep them here for now because I think that it's going to be in the league. I think everyone thinks it's not. And then we're going to find out this weekend or next week that there's 5 Out. And now it's out of nowhere, everyone's like, man, this team, I don't know. I don't know, comp. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it really dictates off a lot of things. Once I get word about a lot of stuff, 5 Out will be huge for this Pistons team if it's actually in the game. they'll be one of the best teams because of the 5 out. But um, anyway, moving to number 3, Pacers Gaming. Greenlight's a dog. Gonna do his thing. He's one of the best scoring guards in the league coming into this year, I think, especially for the Western Conference. They're going to be a good defense. They just need. I mean, they have both sides of what you need for a championship pedigree team. They're very similar to this Pistons build from last year, where they have all these high picks. They get all these really good players in the high picks, and now it's about jumping. It's basically the Bucks GG projection for me for this Pacers gaming team, in my opinion, how I see them. Bucks at 2. Bucks still dogs, still have good players. We're gonna see what it's like without Dimes there and Cease. But Walnut's good. It's just tough because Walnut can't get out of that first round, man. We got to see if he can do it with this Bucks team. It's just, I mean, if he can break that curse, then I'll be more convinced on him. But yeah, overall, like, yeah, and that's the problem. Comp is like I told you, I didn't really go through it. I didn't take the time. Like I had, like I said, when it comes to like individual conferences, I look at it a lot different compared to overall. Um, I think I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I when it's like I don't know how to explain it. Like when it's like when they're matched up overall, I don't even look at it as individual conferences because like there's gonna be like yeah. I mean, I can match it up more with it, but like I look at like I don't know why I look at like when I look at it from this lens, it's a lot different compared to like overall teams uptime. It's just again, this is on again. I have different opinions on every team. Like again, my opinion's always revolving and changing. We've had 1,000 messages in here, 1,000 comments. That's crazy. That's crazy. This kick is not bad. Butcher. Anyway, let's get into the number 1 seed because I do want to get off stream soon. I will be streaming probably one more day tomorrow because obviously I have to hit that ad incentive hours. I got I think 2 more hours that I have to hit. I have to use 2 more hours, so we'll definitely stream tomorrow. But my number 1 team in the Western Conference, Steelers Gaming. I mean, still, I think that the conference is a little different compared to like overall. I don't know how to explain it. I think it's just like join cord. I'm here. Oh God, I only have so much time. Again, let's hear it. Let's hear it. I'm in my cord. Join the voice chat. Join the voice chat, Cookie. Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Talk to me.
Yo, hello?
You got something? Yeah. What do you got to say?
So let me ask you a question, right? Because I don't understand. You had us getting first rounded in playoffs in 5s. Then you had us not making playoffs in 3s in your bowl prediction, right?
Yeah.
How does it correlate to us being the second best team in the West?
This is 5v5. I still think you're going to be the second best team, and I just think you're going to lose to a team in the first round. You can be the best team during the regular season and in tournaments. We've seen 1 seeds get first rounded. Blazers have been first rounded. So, like, I think you guys are going to be a high seeded team that's going to go in the playoffs, and you're going to play against one of these teams like let me give an example, like the Warriors, because you would probably play the Warriors. You could play a team like the Warriors, and like keep playoff Keena could come alive. Like that's how this league goes. Like
Playoff Keenan could come alive. Okay. I like that. I'm not here to throw dirt on nobody, Nate.
No,
Cool.
but I'm just saying, like, I think you guys are still going to be a good team. It's not that I don't think you're going to be a good team. I just think that you're going to have like this high expectation, and then like you're going to get to the playoffs and just lose to a team that people weren't expecting you to lose to.
All right, so So is this one of those champ thoughts where it's like, yo, let me say some outlandish bullshit, and then when they do something, I'll be the one to say, I knew they was gonna do it. I was just giving them extra motivation. Is that one of those, or is
Yeah,
this like really how you
yeah,
feel?
yeah.
Yeah, totally. So look, so into us not making threes playoffs, what goes into that though? Being that we have two of our three players remaining.
I think other teams got better in the 3v3 aspect of things. I think that when I look at the Pacers, I think now they grab one of those spots in 3v3. Like this year, again, I know they were in 3v3 last year. I think the Pistons are still the Pistons. I think that let me see who else. I really like the Jazz team in threes. I really like the Dukes
Okay.
team in threes.
Okay.
I think that you guys are going to be that team that's just like in the ringer and all. Well, but the only thing is now there's more teams that make it, so I don't have the confirmed number of teams. If I get the confirmation that it is the amount of teams that is being said, and again I'm not going to be the person to break that. If it is that amount of teams, then that's why I'm waiting on my 3v3 power rankings because I'm waiting to find out if it's the same amount of teams in playoffs. Because if it's the same from last year, then I think that you guys are in that tough like in between ground because I don't think like for you guys, I think you guys were a good threes team, but I think that everyone got better. I think you guys like your moves this offseason are
Yeah.
very like I think that you guys got like they were fives moves. I'm not saying like you guys aren't good at threes. It's just that like I think that your focus is still very strongly on fives compared to threes. Not saying you don't care about the money in threes. It's just that like you guys want to win another title in fives. It's not about like yeah, it'd be nice to do something in threes, but I think some teams are solely focused. Like their main focus is threes. Like you look at that Duke's team, they're all in on threes. It doesn't look like they're 100% in on fives compared to like you guys. So I also think that like every team can only focus on on so much. It's hard to go like what the Wizards did last year is insane. I don't think that most teams could do what the Wizards did. The Wizards was a very unique team, and I don't think that being able to make finals in both fives and threes, like I don't know, man, that's something that's insane. That takes a lot of work to do both, but to get to both sides. So I mean, I think that that's part of what you like happened to you guys in threes. I think that you guys had like I don't want to say fives as a distraction, but like some teams, I think fives becomes a distraction when it comes to their focus for threes because they're so predicated on like fives that threes like it's almost like the two game modes kind of like counteract each other and cause problems because it's like it's so hard to focus on one.
All right.
So
So champ, right? So look. So okay. We were the number two seed in threes. How do we just go from the number two seed to everyone in the 2K league just getting better than us in threes? How does that work? You just named a team that got two rookies that's going to be playing. Like you got like all these teams that you saying got better in threes. What is it because they drafted rookie stage players?
yeah, and I think the game of threes is
So that's how
evolving.
they got better. Okay, so take away the 2K skill. So let's just go grab some players from stage, throw them into the 2K league. Every team that they're on, they got better in threes. How does that make sense? We was the number two seed in threes.
I think that the teams
We
that
only lost to three teams in threes, champ.
I think that teams are going to find ways to be better in threes this year. I think it's going to come down to just the ability for people to actually run plays in threes. I think that as like we look at the season one teams compared to the season two like season five teams now in 5v5, it's a whole different type of like build. Matt, we're seeing more threes players getting in the league. Like a team that was all threes players is basically on the Dukes team. There was a lot of teams that had individual threes players, but it's hard to have just like one good threes player. I think that's a mistake the Raptors made. The Raptors drafted one player that was known for threes, but the rest of their team was built around fives. Not saying that like all their players were bad in threes, but it was like when you like you look at a team like Dukes Infinitos who has Crizzy, has Killy, and has Headcap, all guys who have been built and predicated
Dukes,
around
Inf-
through.
Dukes Infinitos does not have Crizzy. They have
I mean,
Loki God,
yeah, Loki God. Like,
Cap,
sorry,
and
so, sorry,
Killy, and
yeah, sorry,
Hescap didn't. Genji wasn't good in threes last year,
yeah,
and they had Hescap and Loki God like as a rookie.
yeah,
Continue
but
though.
but but they have three. But you're missing the point. They have three players that are built around that game mode versus a one player that is built around that game mode.
Okay, so one of the players that y'all said was the best stage lock came into the 2K League and did not play the game mode that he was known for, and the other one is a complete
You're,
rookie.
are you listening? Are you listening?
I mean, I'm trying to listen to you, but then when you tell me that Crizzy's on Dukes, and then you tell me how good Dukes is going to be in threes, and
They have okay, but the point is they have low-key Godlike who is from the stage community and is good at stage. Okay, the point is I know they have 3 players on that roster that are good at threes. The point is the Raptors drafted Fana to a team that only had him as a threes player compared to his teammates who don't play threes.
right. So, can you give me another example of a team that got drastically better in threes through the draft?
I think that Jazz Gaming got drastically better at threes compared to last year.
Amen. Another team with 2 rookies that will be on the threes court. So so these 2K League players with no experience, but they have stage experience, right? They have the Antioch experience from retail, right? Correct.
Yeah.
How many players had Antioch experience were successful in 3v3 in the 2K League this past season?
Can you rephrase that question because I couldn't really hear you.
Okay. Okay. Let me say. All right. Let me switch it up then. So the players that were drafted for 3v3 last year, that are
Yes.
known 3v3 players
Yes.
from retail, how many of them were successful in threes in the 2K League this year?
But you're missing the point of why I'm saying they weren't successful. A lot of them weren't successful because they were individual 3v3 players playing with other 5v5 players.
Right. Also, these three teams got better this year because it's multiple of them playing on one team.
Yes. Like now
Right.
they have more people that can play threes with them, and like that's how I look at it. There's also people.
Okay.
There's also the ability to score in an open space. I think that certain players that like the one thing that's important in threes is being able to score in a bigger open space. Like the reason why Ant is so good is because like in threes is because of his experience of playing 5 out. Ant is used to being an ISO guard.
Whoa. Time out. Ant, you talking about Ant season?
Yes.
A 5v5 guard.
Is Ant a 5v5 guard?
Nah, you're right. He played twos. Come on, champ. Like, come on. Who we fooling here, bro? He's not a threes guard. What are we talking about?
But his game, like again, I think five still matters, but it's how you play fives.
Okay.
It's how you
All right.
play the game. It's how you play the game. He plays in an open
But
court.
he's a fives guard who game fits the threes court. I don't think Ant season has loaded up the stage this year. But these stage players that you say, they'll just come into the 2K League and just be drastically better in that game mode over the fives players who did it all year last year.
Yes.
Right. Does that make sense to you?
What is your reasoning for why people were better at threes than other people in threes last year? Give me your reasoning.
I think threes last year was just honestly it was like IQ and just knowing what to do in certain situations.
Or was it based off the half the fucking teams in the league didn't give a shit?
No, I think people use that excuse when they're bad at something. That's the perfect excuse. Oh, we don't care. That's the perfect excuse. Let me ask you a question though. You think Dayfry was a better threes guard than Killy?
Yes.
Ooh, he was a
That's
better
good.
threes guard than Killy. Why was he a better threes guard than Killy, champ?
He's fucking Michael Jordan of the NBA 2K League.
There we go. Someone clip it. We got him, fellas. There we go. Got him. Got him right where we want him. There it is. Champ, you gotta stop, man. You
He's
gotta
fucking.
stop.
What do you mean we got to stop? We have not. We've had 1 year. We've had 1 year
I don't
of
think Dayfry
threes.
would tell you that he's a better threes guard than Killy.
I mean, he wins. He wins.
He wins. So winning is an individual thing now in the 2K League.
But listen, when you win, that's what matters the most. His play style is what wins. So he is a better threes
Play
guard because
style
he
is what
wins.
wins.
Yes.
And this is no chance that Dayfry and Wiggins DP, right?
Cooks, you
The
weren't
double guard lineup that they ran won't be ran this year in the 2K League, champ.
Cooks. Were you the best guard last year?
Nah, not at all, brother.
You weren't one of the best guards in the league last year.
Shit, I don't know, man. I can't be. Not. What are you talking about in threes?
In fives. I'm talking about fives because you won a title in fives. Everyone would probably say that you were one of the best guard. You were one of the best guards in fives last year because you won a title. You should be in that. You should be in that conversation as one of the best guards last year. You at one point felt like you were the best in the world, and that's because you won a title, not because you were your individual play, right?
No, I had a great team around me, but at the topic at hand, where we talking about 3v3, we only lost 3 games in 3v3 last year. So that's why I'm trying to figure out how do we drastically just go from being the number 2 seed to not making threes playoffs because these rookies are coming in and they're just going to make this drastic change to an organization in threes.
Listen, I think at the end of the day, there's always going to be a
Pistons
drop.
GT doesn't have a single stage player on their team, and they won the 3v3 championship, champ.
Pistons GT. Pistons GT, though, relied solely on Ant's ability to ISO.
You said Ant had the ability to ISO?
Ant is really good as an ISO guard, okay?
How's he ISOing with a 7-foot inside, champ? What are we talking about here? He ran
But
pick and roll.
but the point is, when you're a good ISO guard, you're better at working in bigger spaces, okay? Would you say
Okay,
that?
I see what you're saying. I get it.
Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, when you work as when you're used to being an ISO guard, you're like there's a difference between dribbling and pro-am when you don't have much space compared to stage, right? So with Ant Season's game, his ability to be an ISO player in a bigger space, he's used to being in that type of environment compared to most of these guards who are used to being jumbled up in a smaller space. Like, I think for like players like Ant, he's good in he's better in those situations compared to where he is in fives. Because like in fives, it's a lot more closed in compared to where he has a lot more space, and he's used to having space because of the 5-out. I think that we're going to see an evolution of threes this year where, one, I think that a lot of these guys, like Fana was a good threes guard, but also Fana's play style was a lot different than the league build. And that's something that we can't account for this year. We don't know what the league build's going to be like. Because Fana, all like, there's like, at the end of the day, there's only certain moves that like you can use in the league build compared to on retail. Like there's cheesy shit that people use on retail. Even like people were complaining about like setting screens with like, oh, like people are like, oh, you can't set screens with locks, all this shit, like that's cheesy, whatever, like all that shit. Like people were complaining about that. Like that's something that does matter. Like you know what I mean? Because like that's something you have to look at with a lot of these players too, and it's hard to factor. And once we have like league build in the game, then we'll be able to evaluate it better. And again, you aren't wrong about like, oh man, why am I lowering you guys so hard? But at the same time, that's a bold take. It's not the exact analysis of your guys' team. Like bold takes, the point of bold takes is to take something that's outlandish and try to project it. Just like me trying to project whether or not Glizzy is going to be a top 5 finalist for Rookie of the Year. He's the number 1 pick. It's like most people, it should be pretty obvious. It's a bold take if I say he's not. Like bold takes aren't supposed to be like it's
not supposed to make sense.
None of it that makes sense, but like they're supposed to be something that is not like what the common mind would think. Like I'm trying to go outside the box of what most people are saying. And yeah, I did 75 bold takes. Not every bold take is going to be like this perfect bold take. I did 75 different bold takes for 25 teams. Like I did 75 bold takes. There's 25 teams. And when I say that for you guys, like the point is like the expectation is, yeah, you guys were a 2 seed last year. Okay, now the bold take is you guys are not going to make it in 3v3. That's the bold take. So it's supposed to be a drastic drop off. Like this year, like we have a Wizards team that just went to both finals, and now I don't even have them making playoffs. Like that's the point. Like the bold takes aren't like I think that people misconstrue what bold takes are supposed to be. Like it's not supposed to be an accurate take. It's supposed to be something that's like it's trying to like project something.
Real quick, champ. Let me ask you a question, right? This is actually some funny ass shit you said. I was waiting for you to slow down. I really had to ask you this. You said Ant Season's ability in isolation helps him with threes, right?
Yes.
How does someone who prefers isolation, let me not say prefers, because I don't know what he prefers, but I know he prefers 5-out actually. How does Ant preferring 5-out and ISO matters with him using a screen?
Because when it comes, listen, so he's used to dribbling with a lot more space compared to most guards, right? Like, at the end of the day, when you play 2K, like, you have force habits because, like, you're used to a certain type of environment. He's used to having a lot of space on the court as a player in the 5-out, okay? So he's used to having a lot of space. In 3v3, there's a lot more space. Yes, you add the screen there, but he still has a lot, he's still used to having that, like, a lot of space on the court. And that's why he's able to translate so well from 5s to 3s because of his playstyle in 5s. Because his playstyle in 5s is literally, everybody is spread out and he has a lot more space compared to most guards who aren't used to that. So that's why.
Okay. Makes sense, champ. Okay, makes sense. Got it, man. It makes sense what you're saying, bro. Makes sense. You know, I see other teams that make moves in the off season, and where they lose two or more players, but somehow they'll be perfectly fine. Life goes on. But
Yeah.
I understand it though. I just had to just get your. I had to understand what you were saying, like with the whole like threes team. Like everybody in the league just got better. Like through the draft, they got better. But I get what you're saying, though, bro. I just have to I was just trying to like get some understanding on it. But you made your points. Those good points, champ.
Sure. Well, either way, I think that at the end of the day, I think that you guys are going to be solid this year in threes. I don't think you're going to make play. I'm kind of like the 50-50 whether or not.
Like, what are you?
I
We're
told
gonna
you.
be solid.
Yeah, no, I think you guys are going to be solid.
No, I don't want to. No, this is not about us. I don't want you to keep
Yeah.
playing. We're gonna be bad. We're gonna be bad in threes. We're gonna get rounded in fives. Cool. You know, in the playoffs last year, too, champ. Every time we played, you were on the other team side with a jersey, with a hat on, with your khakis, with your team gear on. You would have thought you worked for all these teams that we played in the playoffs last year. But it's cool though. I ain't tripping though. I ain't tripping. They the chat want they want DT wants some type of rankings.
I can't do Jesus big face. I don't know if I can do that tonight. I don't know if I can do
No,
position.
you gotta get the community what you want. Because you see, one thing I learned about you though, Jesse, there's one thing I learned about you. You will say something, but then you'll all out backtrack. And that's all like that's wrong. That's wrong. Like you gotta stop doing that, bro. You gotta stop. Like when you say something, you gotta stand on it, bro. Like Jess, that shit wrong, bro.
Man, that's
That
crazy,
shit
Cooks.
wrong.
Cooks, do you
No,
stand?
that shit wrong.
Cooks, do you stand on everything?
Not everything I say, everything I do, but it's like I promise you, man. You was against the war. I didn't even know you had Warriors gear. I didn't even know you had Mavs gear. You was all out with your gear on, with your camera on. You was recording bare feet. Like, come on, champ. Like,
At
what are
the end
we
of
talking about, bro?
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I'm gonna
Hey,
support.
bro.
I'm gonna support my friends. Okay, and what I was doing.
All right. I get that, bro. You right.
For me, Bear's always been there since day one, and I'm always gonna I was trying to I was recording content for him because he's someone who's been in content. You know, I've been yelling at you to do content for the longest time, and
Yeah.
you're finally doing it. Bear at the time it was building a YouTube channel and he's building content. I'm trying to help him out because I'm trying to help
So
him
you gonna have
put.
so you gonna have your when we get first round, are you gonna have your Bucks gaming hat on recording?
I mean, what Bucks gaming hat do I have?
All right. We'll make sure we get that to you.
So, the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's not that I'm going to support my friends, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to be honest about my friends.
No, I feel you, Chad. I was just getting clarification. DT want these rankings though. Can we do these rankings real quick while I got some time?
I'm not going to be able to do rankings tonight.
All right. So we just so the chat gifted them for no reason.
I didn't ask for the gift of subs.
I don't think any streamer just asks for subs, but the chat requests something, they sub for it. I think we just should give the chat what they want. No.
Let me see. Well, first of all, I have to prep everything. I can't just you guys will understand. You know how long it takes to edit these graphics?
DT, what rankings do you want, DT?
The problem is I have to prep everything.
All right.
I can do positional rankings I can do it all. No, but you guys hate when no. You guys are gonna hate it because it's gonna take forever.
Nah, you just gotta not backtrack on it. You gotta actually stand on it. See, champ, I could see the thing is, champ. Like I said, you gotta stop backtracking on shit though. If you stop backtracking on shit, champ,
I don't do Google
people
Sheets
will
like
respect your
Harris.
opinion more.
What do so you really think I backtrack on everything?
No, you backtrack. I just seen you switch your list because Comp said something to you. You said,
Where?
you know what? That's right.
Where?
It was early on the list, and then you seen C's commented, then you decided to switch to Cavs.
So I switched one team. and that's backtracking. There's most teams are in the same place where I had them. Correct.
No,
Correct.
I'm not too sure. I can't remember. But look, can we just do these player? Let's just do these player rankings real quick. Do one. Let's do two positions. DT wants his position, and
I
do
can.
another position that the chat choose.
I mean, if I backtrack and I don't know what I'm talking about, then why do people want me to do rankings?
The season didn't start yet, so everyone's here for the content.
Interesting.
You know when the season start, like you know how it go.
Mm-hmm. Listen, again, for me, I like to be open to when people bring up good points about things. I'm not going to sit here and always be like, oh, like my opinion is straightforward. It's if someone brings up a good point, like if someone like if I'm not going to be you're wrong because you bring up points about fives and threes. There's some things that like when you talk about threes, you're right. But there's some things in threes I disagree. But I'm not going to ignore your opinion. I'm not going to ignore that you aren't wrong that every threes player last year that got drafted wasn't that good in threes like they were supposed to be. But that doesn't mean that's going to happen this year. That doesn't mean that we're not maybe we drafted the wrong threes players. Maybe we didn't scout threes properly last year. Maybe what we thought was good in threes last year is a lot different than what we think is good in threes this year when it comes to drafting a threes player.
DT is begging for the rankings. Can we please do one for him?
I'm supposed to be playing team up right now, man. I'm sorry.
Wait, so you want to leave the rankings to go play team up?
I made a promise. I made a
Jesse, are you
promise.
going for the 2K League?
No.
All right, so what the fuck are you gonna go mash and team up for? There it is. Everyone is asking for the rankings, champ. This is good stream hours. You can get a better incentive next month. Let's do it for the stream, bro.
Listen, I'm going to text one person, and if he says that I can do rankings over,
Who you texting? Harris,
no,
Joe, India.
real ones don't break promises, twin. See, Comp's got it. You got. If they're not playing team up, then I will 100% play. I mean, I will 100% do rankings. Sosa got 12 subs. All analysts caught astray. Rankings are a bust. All right, well, it's looking like we're going to do rankings because they're not responding. So,
There it is.
rankings, Harris.
I gotta stay in the court to make sure you don't backtrack.
Oh God.
Yep, Harris won rankings. The rankings is being done.
Rankings is being done. All right. Well, it looks like, guys, we are going to do rankings. We're playing pro clubs. Unbelievable. Alrighty. Well, I didn't want to do position rankings. No, I'll tell you right now, I never work at a Google
Guys,
shit.
I'm not doing rankings. I'm just here to make sure champ don't backtrack.
But he's a bodyguard. All right. Well, guys, like I said, this was my power rankings. We are going to now move on into positional rankings.